And, of course, the biscuits and gravy. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And from 8 to 9:30, seniors get all this plus a drink for only $8.99. Golden Corral, 1801 South Waldron, Fort Smith. Order online at goldencorral.com for curbside pickup or delivery. Golden Corral, the only one for everyone.
Honey, I found a great new house for us to buy. Look at the photos.
Yeah? Who's gonna clean that big house?
We'll hire a housekeeper.
And who's gonna mow all that grass?
I will, on the weekends.
And who will get the kids to school?
We'll start a neighborhood couple.
You thought of everything, didn't you?
Yeah.
Except, who's gonna sell this house we're living in now?
Nick and Ellie Glidewell. nickandellie.com. Equal housing opportunity, Sagely and Edwards Realtors.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Tonight, we will see cloudy skies, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, especially early and overnight low in the middle to upper 60s. Tuesday, lots of sunshine to start the day. We'll start to see some showers and thunderstorms build again. High temperatures will be in the low to mid 80s, and then sunshine with us on Wednesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Green Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936.
Always building.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 37 days.
We intend to continue to fight every day for the ACC and its members. Where there are disagreements or disputes, I intend to continue to deal with them in a respectful and honorable fashion. The ACC will remain a healthy and vibrant conference that competes at the highest level.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Good morning, gentlemen. Let me rephrase that. You got two gentlemen. You got one ain't earned it yet, has he?
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
It's
You're the ACC commissioner there, talking about trying to keep the Atlantic Coast Conference intact. I hope it happens. I don't think it's going to. I think Florida State and Clemson are going to venture off west to the Big 12. I hope I'm wrong on that, but we'll have to wait and see what the Tigers and the Seminoles do, what the Tar Heels and the Blue Devils do, and other teams, other schools within that league, what they elect to do with their athletics department. We welcome you into a Bandwagon Tuesday of the Morning Rush. I'm, again, on the bandwagon of hoping the ACC stays intact, but Tommy, I just unfortunately don't think it's going to happen, even though I think it would be better for college football if they did.
Bandwagon Tuesday brought to you by Joe's Grill and Cantina, South 74th Street, across from Harvest. What will be 37 days now from Arkansas's first game. All the Razorback games will always be on at Joe's. You can watch those and enjoy half-price apps and taps during the games. Also, it's Taco Tuesday today at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Now's the day of the week that so many people look forward to. $1 crunchy beef and crispy chicken tacos all day today for lunch and dinner. They do it every Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. $1 tacos at Joe's Grill and Cantina on South 74th Street across from Hops in Fort Smith. If this comes unraveled, I don't know what, to me, the only way this league comes apart is if Clemson and Florida State leave. Miami's got to have some say in that because of that market, but their situation as a private school is a little bit different. But what happens to the rest of the members is the obvious question. And I go from that, what would the SEC even be interested in? I mean, that's the next leap, right? If you were going to pick from the bones of the ACC, if it came to that, what would the SEC even be interested in? What would you be most interested in? We talk about expansion. We hear Greg Sankey say they always expand to contiguous states and expand the footprint. You know, would that be it wouldn't be a team like Miami then. They wouldn't qualify. I think about Duke and North Carolina, but I don't know what value they bring to your financial equation, even though it'd be a new state technically, even though you have it surrounded. They'd help and lift and elevate your basketball profile, but does that lift your financial profile? But I wonder, we're at 16 teams now in the SEC, and I lose track. Is it 18 in the Big 12 and 18 in the Big 10? I need to commit that to memory. But I guess one of my questions is, at what point do you cease being a conference and you just become your own mini league? Because, we heard Sam Pittman talk last week about the importance of playing teams over a reasonable amount of time in your league, and how without this shift in the scheduling, it's going to be 7 years before you play one team or another. At what point is the conference no longer a conference and it's something beyond that in and of itself? We're headed, I believe we're headed for some college football league, at least, that has 40 some odd members, and you hope to make the cut if you're have a seat at the table now. But I think that's where we're ultimately headed, because we keep paring down the leagues and the conferences.
Yeah, and that's not good for the sport, as is what Sam Pittman, what you just said, alluded to, not playing the likes of Kentucky or Vanderbilt, which Sam Pittman has not done since he's been the...
You think he was worried about getting that rotation, or you think he was worried about maybe getting Kentucky or Vanderbilt on his schedule?
I think, he definitely would rather have Kentucky or Vanderbilt. He did add kind things about Mark Stoops.
For competitive reasons, obviously.
Mark Stoops' football program didn't really say anything about Clark Lee and what they have going on in Nashville, but that's right. And we'll see what happens with the Atlantic Coast Conference and Jim Phillips and their decision. He's
trying to hold it all together, and if he can get to the season, I bet a lot of this conversation, at least publicly, cools down, and that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to find cover right now.
Pete Thamel, who we're going to hear some opinions from Pete on Arkansas coming up in the program, had this to say when it came to Florida State and Clemson. There's no expectation that they leave before August 15th, so next year probably going to be a part of the conference as well, unless that changes. I thought, one of my hot takes last week is I thought the Big 12 would announce the additions of both of those schools last week during SEC Media Days, which was right down the road from that conference. It didn't happen. So, again, that time lies. And you bring up a good point. If the SEC had a chance at someone they wanted, who would they want within the Atlantic Coast Conference? Phillips coming out strong yesterday at ACC kickoff, saying not only that they want to keep this intact, but the ACC is bigger than a school or schools, which seemed to me was a pretty good shot at Florida State and Clemson right there.
Yeah, and again, I go back to what Greg Sankey has said. You would look for expansion into states you don't have if the SEC even had the appetite for expansion. I think they want to make the 16 they now have, work first. Now, I say in the new states, they obviously brought Texas in, and they already were in Texas, but that was a package deal with Oklahoma. And Texas is, beyond a national brand. So I don't know. Miami's not to that level. I would think the first thing I would look at would be North Carolina and Duke, not necessarily for football reasons. Brings you a new state and it elevates your basketball. I just don't know what it does to you financially.
Yeah, and from a basketball standpoint, you're absolutely correct. Adding them would be awesome for the league, which has already, again, upped its ante the last few years. But we know the differences of revenue and the differences of eyes when it comes to football and basketball. Well, North Carolina's had a decent football program since Mac Brown has been there the last few years. Duke has not, for the most part. I know Mike Elko did a decent job there, but what really television value are you adding from the football, which is the only thing that matters, in my opinion? So you're accurate. I would love it for SEC basketball, going to Chapel Hill, going to Cameron Indoor on regular trips. I just don't think that the conference commissioner and his team and the ESPN and ABC and everyone that has to make a decision on that would find that, hey, it's lucrative enough where North Carolina and Duke are beneficial to the league from a football standpoint.
I agree. And, so the pieces never seem to be, the movement never seems to end. And I think some of this is media and just, fueling this. But I think the reality is, hey, the Big Ten's got this much money per school and the SEC's projected to get to this. And now we got revenue sharing and we're going to have to match those. How do we survive?
Yeah.
And right now it's about the top of the crust in the ACC wanting to survive moving forward.
You think about one of the decisions Dan Hurley was facing, the now two-time national champion winning head coach at UConn, with UConn not being a part of a Big Ten or an SEC, and the revenue sharing that is expected to come from the television rights distribution. UConn's in a tough spot. They've got good alumni. They've got a lot of NBA players that are going to be willing to contribute. But that was one of the things that Hurley had to mull over when being offered the Lakers job. It's not only was it the Lakers job, but what's to come within college athletics. And it's not just a basketball thing, as we're talking about. It's football, and it's every sport imaginable, where the Big Ten and the SEC have quite a head start on every other conference right now.
I think there ought to be a conference realignment season. All right, you can't have these discussions and we can't get it out there. Here are the times of the year where conference expansion season begins. All right, that's where we start Bandwagon Tuesday. What do you think? Call or text us 877-377-6963. We're brought to you by APAC Arcola. They have immediate openings in Boone, Marion, and Baxter counties, as well as Benton and Washington counties. If you're a licensed CDL driver or a heavy equipment operator, concrete finisher, diesel mechanic, got experience with paving asphalt or working with concrete, road construction, they have jobs available for you right now with great pay, great benefits, retirement, and profit sharing, all part of the employee package with APAC Arcola. Go to jobs.crh.com. That's jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola is an equal opportunity employer.
We'll get to some Arkansas Razorback news when we return on the Morning Rush.
Find us on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, 97.1 in Camden and South Arkansas, and everywhere on hitthatline.com.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
Somebody get him a plane ticket for New York City.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
This is Chuck Fawcett with Chuck Fawcett Realty. When I have an HVAC problem or a plumbing problem, I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940. Blaylock Heating and Air.
So to have a red truck rolling your way today, give us a call. That's Blaylock Heating and Air Conditioning for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and drain cleaning needs, and great York Home products. It's just one number you need to know. That's 782-8940.
Waiting on someone to bale your hay? Come in to Gray Brothers Equipment and let us show you how affordable only your own Kubota hay equipment can be. Bale your hay when it's ready, not when it's burned up. With economical pricing at Gray Brothers and affordable interest rates from Kubota, this year is the year to bale your own hay. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
You will never find a boring old burger at Art's Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith. Try the Wild West Burger, topped with a hot link, jalapenos, and Art's hot sauce. The Brisket Burger, with tender brisket and caramelized onions on top of their hand-patted burger. Or the famous Art Attack, with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Are you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forsgren wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forsgren has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forsgren is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forsgren is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forsgren legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at goforsgren.com. That's goforsgren.com. Forsgren Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote. Get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSAuto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Mike, just keep up the good work. You're a star in the making. I appreciate everything you say and everything you do.
Arkansas looking to tie the game. Wilson will keep it. Nobody expected that. And we've got a brand new game.
Please rate and review the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Give us 5 stars to help us get our content out to the rest of the Razorback family. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
So I got some Hog news to share with you in the 6 o'clock hour. Pete Thamel, Reese Davis on the College Game Day podcast had some things to say about your basketball program. Got another football commit in the class of 2025. Plus, we got a special guest that's going to join us tomorrow at 8 o'clock that I'll tell you about coming up.
Hey, if you haven't downloaded the Oaklawn Sports app, be sure and do that to your Apple phone or your Android phone. You can do the Apple Store, obviously, and the Google Play Store to do that. Download it, and when you make your first bet, and what you got to do is set up your account, make a bet of at least $10, and if that first bet doesn't work out, up to $250, they'll give you a free bonus bet after the action on your first one. You've got the Olympics coming up. You've got Major League Baseball right now. Got a lot of things going on. It's easier than ever, too, with their many ways to put money into your account, also withdraw cash as well. Debit and credit cards, PayPal, Apple Pay, Venmo. You can ACH either direction. And if you're at Oaklawn, you can put cash in or out of your account right there on site as well. It's never been easier. Arkansas's best sports betting app. Bet with a brand you trust. Bet with Oaklawn Sports.
All right, so we'll start with the audio from Pete Thamel and Reese Davis. Again, spent about 7 minutes talking about the Arkansas Razorbacks yesterday. Here is what the college football and really national college sports reporter Pete Thamel had to say, kind of how he's feeling about Arkansas in the preseason.
It's a really interesting time where, like, all of our preseason notions are coalescing and they're like gospel. And then when they don't happen, we're shocked, right? Like, Arkansas is going to go 2-10 because they were bad last year. And it's just like, there's so much ambiguity. So like that would be like what I would caution our listeners is, like, don't get convicted in the preseason in modern college football. If you get convicted in the preseason in college football, you're going to be surprised. Like, there should be very few shocking results because we just don't know who these teams are.
And the reason I play that clip is because I went back and listened to what I said last year about this time. I was dead set on the football team last year being like maybe 8-win team, and we saw 8 losses instead of wins. And I think oftentimes, and again, it's more skewed negative. I understand with what kind of your outlook is on the season. I completely get that. But as we've seen over the course of my lifetime, your lifetime, preseason predictions are not always indicative of what happens in the actual year.
Rarely are they, you know. You look at the record of media days and predicting champions, and the record's not great for the media in predicting always just the SEC champion. And it's going to get harder as the leagues get bigger. And now you don't have divisions. And, I mean, I think it makes the predictions even more difficult. not enough focus is put on personnel. Not enough focus is put on, and I think that's harder to do now because of NIL. And I think last year, this is just my opinion. Some of the NIL stuff and some of the things that we saw going on around the team. I don't think it was the only reason, but it was part of the reason why maybe the team didn't live up to expectations. We heard about trouble in the locker room, and there was clearly trouble between the offensive coordinator and Dan Enos, the quarterback, and that offensive system that led to a midseason change. I think the season never got on track offensively in particular, and this year you got to be more hopeful. You're more stable than you were a year ago, I believe, with the offensive leadership and direction from Bobby Petrino. And from those that watch the practices, they feel like this might be Sam Pittman's best defense potentially that he's had since he's been the head coach. Now, you got to go out and live up to that. But if those things hold true, I think this team will be in a bowl game. Not sitting here saying they're going to win 8, 9, 10 ball games, but they'll be improved over last year. And I think they'll be in a bowl.
Some more football news. You did get a commitment yesterday out of North Shore, Houston area. Congratulations to Sam Pittman and staff. Nigel Pringle commits to Arkansas. 17th commit in the class of 2025, a 3-star quarterback that had offers to Oregon, Houston, and some other institutions as well. So you built up that class so far. I think it's within the top 27, if I remember that correctly, depending on what recruiting service you had. Again, Sam Pittman, one of the things he addressed in media days is it was kind of odd that they had less high school commits and signees than they did transfer portal guys. But that's just, I feel like, not just in Arkansas, but that's just going to be more the norm in college football. You're not used to that. You're used to maybe a couple transfers here and there, but the way college sports is headed, I think the anomaly years, Tommy, are going to be the years that you sign more high school kids than you will transfer kids.
Depends on your situation. If you're Georgia, your formula might be a bit different. Kirby spoke to that last week, and that, and he's in the catbird seat and not always in the need of chasing a need. Arkansas, Sam Pittman spoke to, hey, if I need 3 linemen, I got to go find 3 linemen and use it more like free agency. So I think it depends on where your place is in college football. If you're the Georgias of the world right now, and I don't even know who else to add to that list. Everybody wants to lump Texas in. We're not there yet. Who else? Is Alabama still there? Maybe. I think we're probably deducting too much without Saban not being there. We're going to find out here in about 4 or 5 months. But, where you can still hand select enough high school kids, you've got the NIL funding to get who you want out of the high school rankings, where you're always working your numbers to where you need to be. And then you can hand select maybe a 4th or a 3rd out of the transfer portal. Kids don't leave places like Georgia and Alabama, or haven't in recent years. We'll see if the dynamics change with Saban out. I think that's still the most interesting thing about this season is, how do things shift or change, and how does this conference compete differently, if at all, without Nick Saban in the mix?
Yeah,
and it's going to be different.
Mm-hmm. I tend to think that Kirby Smart is going to capitalize heavily on that. Win the national championship this year. That means 3 of 4 will be in Athens, Georgia, the last 4 years, and then see what seasons come. I know that the SEC landscape has changed, but I think Georgia's just ahead of the pack right now. But Kalen DeBoer and others have something to say about that, including Lane Kiffin. All right, some baseball news for you. Connor Nolan's going to join us at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Clay's going to be with us a little earlier at 7:15. Connor just, again, recently moved up to the AAA affiliate of the Chicago Cubs. I think it's Des Moines Cubs, if I remember right, and is one basically change, or we're talking about realignment within college football. He's one reclassification away from moving up to Wrigley Field and playing for the Chicago Cubs. So I'm excited to chat with him about that. So
and it's just great to see Arkansas guys doing well and getting the call up to AAA. You're right. You could be a moment's notice away. So, looking forward to having a conversation with him. I know he's still got a lot of family in the area, and they are excited about maybe what might be next for Connor Nolan.
I saw that Peyton Stovall, Ben McLaughlin, and Jake Faraday have all signed their deals as well. Stovall signed for over $600,000, Tom. It wouldn't be bad to have $600K in your wallet right now.
Hey, did you know the Inn at the Mill has been around since 1992? That's when they started welcoming guests to experience the most unique place to stay in all of Northwest Arkansas. If you're visiting anytime soon before summer is over, or maybe already making fall plans for football games, the Inn at the Mill is the place to stay in Northwest Arkansas. Convenient location right off I-49, exit 69 at the Johnson exit, close to everything, whether it's Crystal Bridges or the AMP, or whether it's a football game at Razorback Stadium. It's all nearby with their central location at the Inn at the Mill. Give them a call. Talk to Jen or any of the staff. They're going to treat you well. Never a phone tree to get bogged down in. 479-443-1800 is their number. 443-1800 or online at innatthemill.com.
We had a chance to catch up with Barrett Sallee at SEC Media Days. We'll play that conversation next.
Find us on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, 97.1 in Camden and South Arkansas, and everywhere on hitthatline.com.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
Give me the Hogs, Chuck. Give me the Hogs.
The first thing people notice when they drive up to your home or walk in any room of your house is the color. And if you're looking for the perfect color and the perfect paint, you'll find it at the Paint Store in Van Buren. Hi, Tommy Kraft here. The Paint Store in Van Buren gives you hometown service from people who know what they're talking about. You don't have to chase them down to get help at the Paint Store. They're always there to help you get that perfect color and that perfect match for your project. If you're looking for the perfect paint color, it's at the Paint Store, 1414 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren.
What's new at Wheeler Power Sports? Short answer, a lot. All new Kawasaki Ninja 500, Z500, Eliminators, and Mule Pro Diesels. New Kawasaki Ridge side-by-side is now arriving. New Polaris Expeditions and Ranger XD 1500s. New Suzuki GSX 8R. New 2024 model Polaris Slingshots, including the Roush Edition, are now in stock. Check us out online at WheelerPowersports.com or stop by and see us at downtown Fort Smith at 901 North 11th Street. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacale, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar.
Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some
almost fell down backpedaling, fires the football, it is complete. Touchdown, Arkansas! The fullback, Mark Pierce.
You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line Now.
Always good to chat with Barrett Salee, who's covered college football for many years. We're getting his thoughts on not just Arkansas, but some of the other schools in this league coming up, plus our CJ's Trivia Tuesday question in about 15 minutes.
Hey, brought to you by our friends at Farm Credit of Western Arkansas. There's 25 locations, so whether you're in Northwest Arkansas or Harrison or Fort Smith or many other places, there's a Farm Credit office nearby to help you with financing options to spruce up your existing home, or even if you're looking to build a brand new home right now, Farm Credit can walk you through every option that's out there and get you the right financing at the best rate for you. Visit myaglender.com. That's myaglender.com, or drop by any of Farm Credit's 25 locations. That's Farm Credit of Western Arkansas, myaglender.com.
Times have changed, man, and you think about it again, not just the changes that we had back in 2012. I mean, if you go way back to 92 in Arkansas and South Carolina, I mean, how much of those were big changes back then, and we got a chance to take in the stuff from Roy Kramer, Mike Slive, and now Greg Sankey. I mean, how much of a bigger change is Texas and Oklahoma entering the league than the four teams that I just mentioned?
Well, Texas fans will like to tell you that it's the biggest development in sports history, because that's what they think about Texas. It's big. It is to have. We joke about Texas and their arrogance, but to have Texas in there with the money they bring, the visibility they bring, that's huge. And with Oklahoma, too. I think it maybe to a lesser extent Oklahoma, but the success they've had, even though it has not resulted in national championships, we've seen them on the biggest stages under each of their previous two coaches. So, I think what it represents to me is the solidification of where the sport is going. The Big Ten wants to be national, which is fine. Mm-hmm. The SEC still wants to be relatively regional, but at the same time maintaining that same kind of financial success by adding, higher profile programs.
Yeah, I think about the Big Ten. Greg Sankey keeps coming back to the regionality, which Oklahoma and Texas still are two of the most Western teams of the Southeastern Conference, but it just makes sense not only from that standpoint, but the fan standpoint. I wonder how those first couple games are going to go for both teams. And I know that Oklahoma's schedule is a lot more difficult than Texas is in just the front of it. But you heard Venables kind of balk at the idea. It's like, how are you going to handle it? Do you think Sark answers it in the same time? It wasn't abrasive, but it was just like he didn't really know how to answer it at that point.
Well, Sark knows how to. Sark's done it. That's the thing is Sark's been at Alabama. He understands what that entails. He's gone to Alabama and beaten the Crimson Tide. He's built his roster in the way that SEC teams have to build it in order to be successful at the highest level. So. I think Sark will be fine. I'm not surprised that Brent Venables didn't know how to answer that question because he's never done this before. And I think people forget this is his third year as a head coach. It's still hard to deal with all this stuff. It's new still to him, and then to throw this curveball in. I mean, he knew when he got hired, but to throw this curveball in now that you're going from the Big 12, which is good, to the toughest conference in the sport. I don't know if there's a right way for him to answer that question. But Sark, I think in Texas, they're ready to go. They've built it the way that SEC teams need from the inside out. They've recruited well. And they've managed the transfer portal in a way where they can supplement and done it in a way where it's responsible but effective. And it's really what Alabama did when they went and got Jamison Williams and that crew. Mm-hmm. And it's what Georgia did a couple years ago, or I guess last offseason, when they went and they got Ra Thomas and Dominic Lovett and didn't go full transfer portal crazy like Lane did. But that's what Lane has to do.
Yeah.
Texas doesn't have to do that.
Barrett, what's the next 3 years look like for Alabama? Everybody assumes it's getting ready to crater. They may never win a game again. Nick Saban is gone, and nothing will be right with the world again in Alabama. What do you think happens with Kalen DeBoer and the first 3 seasons?
Well, Tuscaloosa will fall into a sinkhole and never be heard from again. I think it's not fair to expect them to be what they have been under Nick Saban. There's no blueprint for this, and I think Alabama folks know that. The weirdest thing is that I think Alabama, the fans and boosters and all the people involved have resigned themselves to the fact that, it's not going to be as easy. They already had been knocked off by Georgia in terms of the dynasty, so to speak, and now you lose the best of all times. So I think what Kalen has to do is make the floor the bottom floor 9 wins. That's the worst possible season is 9 wins. And if that's the case, then they're going to be in the playoff hunt every single year. They're going to make the playoff most years. Who knows if winning the national championship is hard. I mean, Nick Saban proved that. So I think what the expectations have been reset. If Kalen can, like I said, if he can consistently bounce around that double-digit win season, they'll be fine. And the weirdest thing is I never try to use the word rational with any college fan base, but especially Alabama. It almost feels like they're going about this in a rational and responsible way.
Yeah, that'll wear off. Kirby's entering his 9th season at Georgia. He's, 48, 49, so he's late 40s. Is there any way he can duplicate now with Saban out of the league, anything close to that run over the balance of the rest of his career, say the next 10, 15 seasons? I mean, is that possible at Georgia for him to approach what Saban accomplished?
I'd say he's already doing it. But can
he sustain it and beat it?
Yeah.
Match or beat it?
Well, what I think is, last year, I think Georgia was the best team in the country last year. They lost at the wrong time. The landscape of the season evolved to a point where they didn't get in the playoff. But I think they were the best team in the country last year. Just lost at the wrong time. So if the chips fell in their direction last year, they'd have won 3 straight national championships. Mm-hmm. Alabama didn't even do that. So I think they're already at that point because they've just everything that Nick did, Kirby's actually doing it better than Nick, and he's going to be there longer. And so, are they going to win the national championship every year? No. But they'll get into the playoff literally every year. They will be there.
Who's the biggest threat in the league to knock them out? Not necessarily in the regular season, but potentially the college football player. Or maybe you have a team like Ohio State or Michigan outside the league that you think poses a bigger threat.
Well, I think Texas is in the SEC for sure is the biggest threat, and they might be the biggest threat in the playoff as well. I am still convincing myself that Ryan Day is not going to start Will Howard at quarterback at Ohio State.
Wow.
If that's the case, then Ohio State's going to be as good. Will Howard lost his job to Avery Johnson at Kansas State. They've got 3 better quarterbacks on the roster. In my mind, Ryan Day's smart enough to go with the preventative transfer route with Will Howard. I don't really need him, but you can't have him either. If that's the case, then I think Ohio State can win national championships, multiple national championships.
So I don't know what exact amount of money he make, as we're talking with Barrett Sallee here on the Morning Rush, but supposedly he made a good chunk of money, and it's kind of like the NFL. Like, you pay a guy a certain amount, he's supposed to play. You got to tell all these people, like, you got to, hey, he's not going to play, blah blah blah. Is that rule ever going to apply in college, where a kid's getting a certain amount of money, so he's just forcibly a starter based on the amount of money?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's happening now. It's
much
not
as
for a
given,
lot of
much
them.
expected.
Yeah, I mean it's happening now, and it's going to continue. I think that the players have so much leverage. If you say, okay, I got a $3 million NIL deal, you better play me, and the coach understands, hey, if the coach doesn't do that, that player's leaving.
Well, that money's never coming again.
And that money's never coming again.
That was given to that. So,
yep. So it's a new era, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. Kirby Smart today said he doesn't suspend players; he fines them. And I'm like, that makes a ton of sense. Makes a ton of sense.
Well, you want to have things that pros have. That's how they handle it.
Exactly. You asked for it. This is what you get.
This is what goes along with it.
He also had a kind of funny clip about the schedule. Georgia was not given any favors. I mean, going to Austin, to Oxford, and to Tuscaloosa. Was that kind of surprise when you saw that schedule come out that they were
not really? Because what's the big curveball there? It's Texas, right? That's about it. You throw all of these teams in a big pot and pick them out, and I think that you can make every schedule look difficult, right? I think what's interesting is that, and this is kind of a slight to Oklahoma, but all the teams that have manageable schedules all drew Oklahoma instead of Texas.
Oh,
and it's the truth, and I get it. I get it.
All right, before we go, thoughts on Arkansas season? Seems like a put up or shut up year for Sam Pittman. He'll be here on Thursday to answer those questions. What's your thoughts on Arkansas season ahead?
I'm not very high on Arkansas, and I know your listeners are probably not going to like that.
Tell me why.
The skill positions, they just don't have them. I like Taylor, and I think he's a good quarterback, but and I think from a locker room standpoint, they're going to be a little more harmonious, and things will be okay there. But what's the upside to the offense? I don't know what it is, but I know it's not very high.
Healthy Luke Haas, perhaps, and wide receivers with some experience coming back, but taking a step backwards in a few other places, and the offensive line still an unknown.
That's what I was going to say. Is the offensive line is? I mean, you can't live with a question mark there, and that will. I think Arkansas is in a position where it has to be unique and dynamic offensively, like be very unique, very dynamic, make defensive coordinators worry about all different kinds of things that they've never seen before. And if you don't have an offensive line that's elite at Arkansas, you're going to have some problems.
Well, it's honesty. You might not like it, but at least he's being honest about it. Again, Barrett.
And I love Sam Pittman. I'd go drink beers with that dude any day.
I was going to say, maybe we can get up a night early for karaoke on Wednesday night.
It is Wednesday night.
It is
One-Eyed Penguin.
One-Eyed Penguin. All right, Barrett's League, get college football smothered and covered, Outkick, and also Sirius XM. Barrett, really appreciate it, man.
My pleasure, guys.
See, as we were chatting with Barrett last week, you may not like the honesty that he just gave about Arkansas football, but here's my whole stance on where the offense is. You can't be worse than what you were last year, right? I know the old adage is you can always be worse, but legitimately they cannot be a worse offensive team. They can be a worse football team. They could go less than 4-8, unfortunately, but I just don't see how the offense takes a bigger step back or even a slight step back than they were able to last year. If your offense takes a step forward, then there's a good chance that you're improved from last year. Does that mean 3 or 4 more wins? Probably not, but he made a fair point about the skill position players. There's no one outside of Luke Haas that necessarily scares you on this roster offensively.
No, and that's why a lot of the questioning was about Bobby Petrino. But this offense is going to be improved over last year. I believe the offensive line is better based on things that people like Clay Henry that have watched a lot of the spring scrimmages and got to the Saturdays that were open. And, I think this is going to be a much improved team. Sam brought this point up last week at Media Days, maybe in our conversation about, hey, we opened up the spring scrimmages for the media to see because we want them to understand that we're a better football team. And I'm paraphrasing to a degree, but why else would he open them up? And then he wanted people to understand that, hey, we got a better group. And I think it starts up front with we've got to wait and see, but everyone believes this is a better offensive line. So Some are already, we heard Coach talk about Eric Mateos and his ability to coach the players, and he's in there as what do he call himself, the oldest GA in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all hands on deck with this offensive line. Offensive line was a huge part of the problem last year. I believe it will be greatly improved over last year. I'm not saying it's a top 3 or 4 or 5 offensive line in the SEC, but all of those things go together in the recipe with a healthy Luke Haas. If you can, I don't know if you're neutral at quarterbacks, how I look at that. I don't know enough about watching Taylon Green, and none of us know at this level.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can watch Boise State stuff, but until you see him in the SEC, you don't know. I think this offense is going to be improved. And how many games did they have last year? Handful that you lose by a possession.
5-1 score losses last year.
So, if you flip 3 of those 5 around, we're talking about a whole different outlook on this year's season. So that now you're at 7 wins. So, but here's the other thing with Arkansas. Clay Henry wrote about this. You can read his recent column at hitthatline.com. You're an injury or 2 away. Arkansas is not deep enough with quality.
Yeah.
You are still a key injury away in a couple of different places on this team from wrecking the whole game plan. So you just hope to be fortunate. Luke Haas was one of those last year. You wouldn't have put him on that list preseason, but turned into be that kind of player. You're still a few injuries away from having a real problem with this season.
Funny text from Chuck in Greenwood saying it's the defense stays the same, the offense is any better, we could win 3 or more games, but if the defense sucks and the offense sucks, we're done.
I think the defense is going to be pretty good.
I don't think the defense is going to be better than they were last year. I mean, think about what you did last year. You held 3 quarterbacks on the road. Basically, Jaden Daniels only played good for a half. Jackson Dart played terrible against you, as did Jalen Milroe. I don't see this defense being better than they were last year. Now, that is going to be, again, moved, or
You're not playing Milroe this year.
The changes is going to be, you play better quarterback, I think, in Quinders. The change is going to be that you will have a better offense. But, again, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see how the defense is better than they were last year. You lost your 2 best linebackers. You lost some defensive guys up the middle. I know Snacks Johnson left. Maybe he wasn't going to get playing time this year, but I can't anticipate them having a better defense than they were last year. But as I said earlier in the show, I also was pretty staunch in this team winning 7 or 8 games last year, and we saw how last season turned out.
Well, I don't want to – I know it's July, the 23rd, and this is what we do in July. This is talking season, as Coach Spurrier used to say. But I want to caution on – and I'm not saying you're speaking in absolutes, but if you're speaking in absolutes in July about what's going to happen this season, you're going to be made a fool of many times over. So we just got to wait and see. And I know that doesn't create a lot of interesting July conversation. But the reality is, until we see Taylon Green play against an SEC defense, we got a lot more questions than we have answers.
All right, what do you think? 877-377-6963 if you have some thoughts on this football team or our CJ's Trivia Tuesday question, which we'll get into right now.
This is CJ's Trivia Tuesday, presented by CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers in Fayetteville and Russellville.
It's delicious. There must be 50 customers out there. It's unbelievable.
When all you do are burgers, they have to be the best.
So college football realignment has been a story of not just the ACC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, the SEC, really all of college sports. There are 3 teams that have withdrawn from the SEC since 1940. If you want to give me all 3, you're more than welcome to, but all I need is 1. Again, to win a $25 gift card, call in. You can't text in. Got to call in. 877-377-6963. What are one of the 3 teams to withdraw from the SEC since 1940? Can you name all 3?
I think I got 2 of the 3. I don't have the 3rd.
Okay. All right. Ryan in Hot Springs, go ahead, man. What is the answer to our CJ's Trivia Tuesday question?
I know.
He hung up.
Ryan, all right.
All right, Ryan, we'll try and get you back. Again, one more time for our audience, since Ryan was not able to communicate with us. For your chance to win a CJ's Trivia Tuesday gift card, since 1940, 3 teams have withdrawn from the Southeastern Conference. I just need one of them. There's 3 total. If you give me one of them, 877-377-6963. Again, 877-377-6963. We having phone issues over there?
I think Ryan's problem may not have been Ryan's problem. I don't know.
Might have been our problem. Okay. All
Might have
right.
been button pushing.
So you know two. You said you knew two of these?
I would have a guess on the third.
Okay.
One of them's kind of got a weird name.
Okay, then you're right on that.
Yeah. The other one is in a Power 5 conference. And
That's correct.
The other one is close by some really good food in our country.
I think you're correct on all three.
I think.
All right, Christian, who we got to answer this question? Ryan. All right, Ryan in Hot Springs. We'll try this again. What is the answer to our CJ's Trivia Tuesday question?
So I know two of the three. It's Georgia Tech, Tulane. Is it? I can't pronounce it. But still, it's at that little school out of Tennessee.
Sewanee, correct. School of the South.
They were one of the charter members of the league.
Yeah.
Way back when.
I was on the SEC website. Ryan, appreciate the call. We'll keep you on hold. We'll get that information. I was reading the school's website because I knew those three had withdrawn. I didn't remember, but they were, I think one was in the 40s and the other two were in the 60s. But yeah, the Green Wave, Sewanee School of the South, and then the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets were once a part of the Southeastern Conference, which is...
So when the league celebrated, in college football celebrated an anniversary, there were some, is either ESPN or SEC documentaries, but there was an SEC documentary on the kind of the founding of the league and the history of the league. And if you watch that, they spent, a good amount of time. That's either a 3 or 4 part series. I can't remember. It's been a few years ago, but I really enjoyed watching that. Had it on my DVR for a while to just kind of go back and, if you're looking for something to go to sleep to, it's a good one to put on. But that if you haven't seen that, find it, on your on demand or streaming because it's a really good watch.
Yeah.
So it goes through the different eras of the SEC and it talks about Sewanee and Tulane and Georgia Tech.
The thing they showed us this past weekend or this week, the SEC Saturday Night Football at night particularly was really good as well. So the SEC and ESPN has done a good job when it comes to documentaries within this league from time to time. There's been a couple centered around Arkansas Razorbacks and, of course, this conference, but like before they were Cowboys, I know it was a good one. You've had 40 Minutes of Hell on Nolan Richardson, and there's been others that have been just fun to watch around the league as well. So
there's SEC stories, and then there's 30 for 30s, and sometimes sometimes the SEC overlaps into one of those 30 for 30s. But the SEC, I don't know if it's called SEC story, but the one about the SEC and its founding is really good.
Yep. And that is your CJ's Trivia Tuesday question, always brought to you by our friends at CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers. I know Keith and his team are excited about football season, but they can keep care of you quite before that. If you stop by and see them in Fayetteville at the Weddington location, or you can dine in, you can take it to go. You can go through the drive-thru. You can order on the app or the website, or the original Russellville location on Arkansas Avenue where you can dine in or take it to go. I always stop on the way to Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville, and up in Northwest Arkansas prior to games. And I know he's excited to be back in Razorback Stadium this fall. CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers. When all you do are burgers, they have to be the best. And Ryan also wanted to chat about what Barrett Salee had to say. Ryan, go ahead, man. You had some other thoughts this morning.
Yes, sir. I think I'm not the biggest fan of him. I've seen him on other shows, and he usually kind of bags on Arkansas a little bit. He's talking about our skill players, but really, honestly, truthfully, we don't know what we've got. Look at all the mismanagement that went on last year. If you go look at Tyrone Broden's stats, it is unbelievably low. I think he had something crazy, like only like 15 catches or something like that and 3 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
He's not getting used hardly at all. Satang is with speed. The reason why he didn't get to see the field is because he couldn't block, which the poor guy's like 5'11", 175 pounds. How do you expect him to block? He's the guy you're going to put out there wide, let him beat his corner, and go on a go route or something. So there was a lot of mismanagement of our skill players last year that I feel like. So I don't think it's a fair assessment that we don't fully, truly know what we got.
I think you're right. Ryan, when you have a first-year coordinator that's dismissed mid-year, would you call that dysfunction?
Absolutely.
And that's one thing that I think gets overlooked is internally. I don't know all the details, but I mean we know externally Dan Enos was dismissed mid-season as a first-year coordinator. there are issues within your four walls when things of that nature occur, and then you don't see the productivity on the field that led to that decision. So, man, you remove that element, attitudes and morale improves. That's worth something. But the reality is, you play in the SEC. We know the schedule, and how do you stack up against those other teams in this league?
Yeah, to be frank, outside of Luke Has, I don't think there's anyone else on this roster currently, maybe during the season or after season, that other head coaches were like, we got to have this guy. Hopefully those guys change that in the season.
Hey, brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. The best brands, the best prices, and always a lifetime warranty. Grand Design, Forest River, and also the Brinkley Model Zs are at Wheels RV. 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with our good buddies Lee J and Chris at Wheels RV.
As we get going in hour number 2, we'll come back to the realignment conversation, something that ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips had to say. USA basketball got a close win against Germany. And we'll get into our Morning Rush Daily Question, plus talk with Bruce Stanton in hour 2.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Work now, pay later with sizzling savings at WT Equipment. No money down, no interest, and no payments until 2025 on select New Holland equipment. Choose 0 for 60 or up to 10,000 cash back, plus free net wrap on roll belt round balers. 0 for 72 or up to 10,000 cash back on mid-range tractors, or 0 for 72 plus an additional 2,000 cash back on a new compact. Work smarter with no money down, no interest, and no payments on your choice of the summer's hottest deals at WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Nothing says summer fun like fishing with a Thill Bobber with the family. America's favorite floats by Thill are available in a variety of sizes and colors. These premium balsa wood floats are made by the thousands at Pradco in Fort Smith, Arkansas. They are great at detecting the slightest bites by fish and work great in tandem with crickets and redworms. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. America's favorite floats by Thill.
This is the Morning Rush.
When I go out to eat, I want something fresh. I don't want something that's been sitting in a freezer or processed. When I go to Lily Sandwich Shop, I am satisfied to the max. That's because Josefa makes everything fresh and uses that River Valley farm fresh produce during her long growing season. Stop by Lily Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District and become another satisfied customer. The sandwiches speak for themselves.
My name is Lily. My Baba makes the best sandwiches at Lily's Sandwich Shop. Come by and see him at the Bakery District today.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 4th Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Pay attention. This happens fast. Routine, scheduled, maintenance. You know it's coming one day, but that day's in the future. Then the future comes, and your wallet's not ready for that $250 maintenance. But your forklift is. It needs it. Good thing you're smart. You're buying a used forklift from Medley Equipment Company this summer, and its first planned maintenance will be free because Medley keeps you moving.
I'm branch manager Dennis Mabry. Visit medleycompany.com or see us at 4001 Harper Avenue, Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Man, I wish I knew you were here. We hear that every day at In Stock Parts, located off Highway 45 across from the cold storage in Fort Smith. Are you a maintenance technician, landscaper, farmer, or do-it-yourselfer and need a bearings, belts, or roller chain? Or safety supplies like gloves, safety glasses, or earplugs? Maybe you need drill bits, tap and die sets, lubricants, or even a gas-powered pump or generator. Don't waste your time driving around. Stop by In Stock Parts, your industrial parts resource, or check them out online at InStockParts.com. In Stock Parts.
Wes, how many people can a large pizza feed?
About 4.
So I should tell Cousin Jeff 1.
Oh, wow. He's a big eater.
The biggest. He once got kicked out of an all-you-can-eat diner because they ran out of food. How many can a small pizza feed?
I'd say 2.
Our small pizza at $15 is a meal for 2? We should advertise this. That goat'll hunt.
Dog.
What you call me?
That dog will hunt.
Wes, dogs are man's best friend. Goats are the true hunters.
Goats?
Billy Goat Jr.'s Grammy was trained to chase squirrels, cats, birds, and rabbits. We could hear her for miles through the brush. And she'd circle them right to us.
You're not serious.
As serious as a meal for 2 for $15.
You're an interesting cat.
What you call me?
A meal for 2 for $15. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, just a slight chance of a shower with thunderstorm north. Further south, we'll see a better chance of wet and stormy weather. High temperatures in the lower 80s. Clear north with some patchy fog, mid 60s. Chance of some showers and storms, upper 60s further south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Green Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936. KERX Paris Fort Smith.
The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 37 days.
We intend to continue to fight every day for the ACC and its members. Where there are disagreements or disputes, I intend to continue to deal with them in a respectful and honorable fashion. The ACC will remain a healthy and vibrant conference that competes at the highest level.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Good morning, gentlemen. Let me rephrase that. You got 2 gentlemen. You got one ain't earned it yet, has he?
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
It's Our friend Bruce Stanton, who joins us coming up in about 20 minutes, just sent me some pictures of him and his lovely wife fishing right now in Key West. Apparently one of the fishes has been eaten by a lemon shark and it didn't look like they were deep sea fishing because it wasn't that the water wasn't that deep, but they are catching quite a number of fish. And speaking of fish,
hang on, I gotta ask, can you tell how deep the water is by looking at a picture?
What was a video? The video.
Oh, so you can tell how deep in a video the water is.
I mean, when you can see the bottom of it, okay. I think that.
Okay, so you can see. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't see the video. I was just wondering.
No, I mean, when you can see the sand or whatever is underneath, it's. I mean, I thought a pretty good indication the water's not that deep. It didn't look like there were deep sea fishing, unless that was like.
So if you're out on a boat, sometimes it's hard to tell.
Yeah, unless it was a reef or something. The water looked quite clear. By the way, congratulations to our buddy Sean at the Fence Man, who apparently exceeded his over-under of 9.5 fish. I texted him yesterday. He got, I think, 11 over the course of 2 days, so we can chat with him about that on Friday as well with Bruce coming up in about 15 minutes. Talk about what happened.
You ever been to Key West? I've never been to Key West. You're not. If you're having to think about it, then you haven't been to Key West.
Yeah, I don't think so.
What do you mean? You either have or you haven't.
Yeah, and unless I was a kid and I was taking, I don't remember. Yeah. No.
I've never been to Key West. That's a bucket list stop for me. So, looks like a beautiful place. Hard to get to, though.
Where do you fly into?
Miami, probably.
Oh.
I mean, you can fly. I think there's one spot down there you can probably fly into, but fly into Miami, get your car, and drive. The drive's the beautiful part.
Tell you what was not a beautiful drive is driving from Tampa to Gainesville. Gainesville's just kind of like in this weird spot. Did that last year. Florida, you forget how big Florida is and how, again, the length of that state is pretty wild.
You can leave like the Destin area, Pensacola over there in the Panhandle, and you could drive for 24 hours and not get to not get out of that state.
Jeez. I mean, because of traffic and everything.
Yeah. Well, no, just the distance.
Ugh, that does not sound appealing at all. I mean, what is it?
Drive from North Texas in the Panhandle all the way down to, Brownsville or somewhere way down there in the tip down there.
Fayetteville to Jonesboro is what, like 4.5, 5 hours?
Yeah, but Jonesboro ain't even all the way to the corner. So
what's in the far northeast corner over there?
Oh, it's not Norfolk, but one of them towns. I mean, over there below the Boot Hill.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's much more appealing than, like you said, driving 24 hours across the state and still not getting there.
Yeah, I mean, you could drive from Panama City or let me put it in my maps. But yeah, I mean, you can have some hellacious drives in the state of Florida.
Not appealing. Not my cup of tea. Don't mind visiting there from time to time, but curious to see if there's anything like Florida State, for example, residing in Tallahassee, if where their future investment in a conference lies. Is it still within the ACC or still within another league, I should say? We'll talk about that coming up in just a bit.
Yeah, Key West to Pensacola is 835 miles. So that is a lengthy drive. I don't know if it'd be 24 hours, but it'd feel like it. So it says 13 hours. But
yeah, when you said 24, honestly, with the traffic sometimes, Tommy, you could be accurate.
I don't know. 835 miles, and you never left the state. So that would that'd be a long day of driving right there. I'm good. Hey, Art's Barbecue, burgers and more, back at it here on a Tuesday. They'll have their pork sandwich today, and always something great on the menu. Check out the daily specials. Hey, if it's summertime, and I know right now the heat's not intense like it often is in July. We've kind of gotten a little bit of a break from that. Arts has got a great selection of lighter things on the menu, whether it's one of their great salads. They top it with their smoked meats, whether it's the pulled pork, some sliced brisket, or the pulled chicken makes a great salad. So there's lighter options always on the menu in the heat of the summer, or if you're like me, you're just trying to eat right, they've got some great options as well. The cheeseburger salad, if you want something that's maybe not perfect for you from a calorie standpoint, but tastes delicious, doesn't have all the bread and all the carbs, the cheeseburger salad is just unbelievable. So try one of the great salads, Art's Barbecue, burgers and more. Rogers Avenue next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Caleb in Batesville says it's Blytheville. That's the furthermost east part of the state, is what he's saying on the northeast corner part of Arkansas.
It'd be Bella Vista to Lake Village would be the haul.
Okay.
So.
Well, speaking of traveling, have you heard about what's going on with Southwest and their sodas?
No, but I know they are now the official airline of the Southeastern Conference. So be careful with what you say here.
Yeah. Well, apparently there are soda cans exploding on Southwest flights because of the record temperatures, and they are injuring employees. 20-plus flight attendants have been injured and had to get stitches, according to CBS News, and they are encouraging their flight attendants not to open cans that feel misshapen or feel too hot.
I had one the other day that came out of the carton that the bottom had it kind of
eroded on.
No, blown out or whatever. Not blown. It was just it had, instead of the concave at the bottom of the can, I don't know the best way to describe it, it was poked out because it had gotten hot. So I set it inside for a little while and let it cool off and then open it, and it was fine. But yeah, this time of the year that if it's left out in the heat, there could be a problem.
Yeah, I didn't know that was that big of a deal until
these were out in the garage and got too hot.
Oh, stumbled on that story the other day. So if you are on a flight, maybe just consider water. Do you get sodas on flights, or what do you usually get?
I don't know. Vodka.
I usually go the Coke Zero. I will say that you've the Coke Zero thing is I've really changed my tune on that since I tried it at the College World Series a couple years back. All right, so you had brought up earlier in the first hour of the show this idea of like the ACC or like the Big Ten, if they were to expand or whatever, becoming more of a league than an actual conference. What is the timeline on that in your opinion? Are we 5 years out? I think a lot of it has to do with the expiration of the current contracts in their form. It's like that 2030, 2031, a lot of them, or when they re-up in the SEC. That's when I think you'll see a bigger combination of, like, say, an SEC or a Big Ten, or you'll see the expansion of conferences when the television contracts are up.
Question is, when does football break away from the other sports to a degree? Because football's what's in what becomes of everything else on campus. There's so many moving pieces to this to say, hey, it's going to happen in this time frame. You'd be foolish. You'd be merely guessing. But I think with the NIL and the money that's flowing in, that's kind of where we're headed. It's like a professional college league. We're in some ways we're not that far off. But what you're talking about is, the 30 or 40 best teams, 42, 44, some number. I don't know where you cut it off, but if you have been in a Power 5 conference, you might not make the cut.
Is it better for college football if Clemson, Florida State stay put? I think it is, but I don't think it's going to happen.
The problem is the ACC is so far behind and the Big 12 is so far behind in revenue. That's the issue. Hey, we're talking about the nicer weather. Great time to get out for golf, but when the heat's back up, Ty, indoor golf at Cart Pass Social's the way to go in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, you can stop by and see my buddies Christian Olson and Nate Garhan at Cart Pass Social in Low. You can check them out online at cartpasssocial.com. They've got several hitting bays. You can have up to 8 people per bay, just $50 an hour. You can play courses like Royal Troon and others. So if you want to have a fantastic experience, and like Tommy said, avoid the 90-plus degree and in some cases 100-plus degrees outside, the humidity, the rain, then Cart Pass Social is the place for you. Again, cartpasssocial.com. Check them out in Lowell. More of the Morning Rush. Daily Question when we return next.
Shop local, eat local, be local. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Hey, this is former Razorback Jalen Williams, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Calling all biscuit lovers. Hardee's limited edition blueberry biscuits are the stuff of biscuit dreams. Our famous buttermilk biscuits with summer's favorite berries baked in, served warm, and drizzled with icing. Don't miss your chance to try this special summertime treat while blueberry biscuits are still in season and ripe for the picking. Only at Hardee's. Goodness in the making. Order ahead on the Hardee's app. Participation may vary. Exclusions apply by time of day.
The paint store in Van Buren is still the place to go to when doing the job right really matters. Our unique line of Richards paint products was chosen by me to perform for you. This is Sue, and my 35 years of experience ensures you get the right paint and the right color. That's important to you and me. Thank you for your support. Come see what I'm talking about. 1414 Fayetteville Road, the paint store, Van Buren.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. Is someone special to you missing out on life because of foot pain? Let's face it, if your feet hurt, you don't want to go anywhere. Give the gift of freedom. Check out our store for all kinds of options to benefit your special someone. We have perfect gifts for those suffering from a variety of foot issues, such as plantar fasciitis, bunions, tendonitis, diabetes care, neuropathy, or just tired and achy feet. Visit us today at True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Summertime in Arkansas means pond and creek fishing, and nothing catches bass and bluegill in a pond like a Rebel crick hopper. You can twitch it, pop it, walk it, and swim it. It's the ultralight fishing lure that looks and acts like a real grasshopper. The crick hopper works great in tandem with light spinning rods and reels with 4 or 6 pound fishing line. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. The Rebel crick hopper.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news. Backed by popular demand, state sales tax paid when you trade on our huge inventory of road-ready certified vehicles. That's right. This month, get the best used car your money can buy, road-ready certified with warranty, and get your state sales tax paid when you trade. One more reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
This is Dr. Charlie Liggett with River Valley Smile Center. We dial 782-8940.
Coach Todd Holland, head baseball coach of the University of Arkansas Fort Smith Lions. I call 782-8940.
Stay cool this summer with a York high-efficiency HVAC unit. Or for more information on endless hot water and high-efficiency tankless water heaters, give us a call at 782-8940.
That's 782-8940.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Morning Rush Daily Question.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The corporal will wait for an answer.
All right, we're going to chat with Bruce Stanton coming up in just a bit as he's in Key West right now fishing with his beautiful wife. We've got, let's see, coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to chat with Tom Murphy, getting our Lindsay Associates Pro Hog update as well.
All right, Morning Rush Daily Question. You mentioned Key West, and I mentioned that was a bucket list destination. So what is at the top of you guys' bucket list for dream vacation? Where, if you could go anywhere in the world, you get one trip and Ty's paying, where are you going?
Can't afford that much. I would say mine would be Ireland. I've had friends that have been there. Golf, Temple Bar, the culture, the bar. There's various different things that I'd like to explore there. Hadn't been out of the country since 2017. If you're saying dream vacation, that. As far as in the States, I want to go to Boston. That's a city that I've not been to that I'd like to go to. Savannah, Georgia would be another one. I'm on a golf, as I've texted all my friends right now, I'm on a golf fix right now. So really anywhere with a nice golf course. Like I'll go to French Lick, Indiana, and play that French Lick Resort. So I would say it has to be infused with golf of some sort.
Yeah, I've got some two friends out played Pebble Beach yesterday, and they're going to play all those courses there in the Carmel area, Spyglass and several others. I mean, that'd be a destination domestically. Where would you go, Big C?
Italy or Greece?
Italy.
Two Italys on this program.
Italy's at the top of my list, and particularly my family's list. The Maldives would be one. So we're talking about Key West and Bruce being there, kind of a dream spot for a lot of people. But have you ever seen pictures of the Maldives?
Beaches get boring, man. Huh? And I've always held that belief. I'm a lake boy rather than a beach boy. I'd much rather go to a lake than I would a beach, or a river for that matter. I get
too hot just sitting on the beach baking.
Yeah, you spend way too much money
just in the water. The same thing you do at the lake. You get in the water.
I think the beach is the most
cool off.
overrated vacation there is, to be honest. I've never bought into that idea.
Because it's expensive, isn't it? That's
no,
why.
it's not that. Every time I've been,
Your
it's just
frugalness is taking over.
Well, I mean, I haven't. The only beach trip I've really paid for is the one in Cabo back in 2017 when I was a senior. But prior to that, been on other ones, and it's just you get bored. Like you're just sitting there, and yeah, there are various activities you can do. But then, as you said, they're not cost effective, and I just think it's an overrated trip. It's more of a I've felt over the years as I've talked with different men and ladies. Ladies enjoy it way more than men do. Men just are there to be there a lot of times. I get bored, and I don't think I'm the only one in that camp on that.
All right, what do you think? You can text us here on the hotline, 877-377-6963. Single A in Danville says Tahiti. Now, I've never been to the South Pacific, Tahiti, Bora Bora. What else is down there? You know, some of those islands down there. Long flight, but I'd like to go. B.E. in Clarksville says Turks and Caicos. I took Laura there for our 15th wedding anniversary. Turks and Caicos, great beaches, depending on which side of the island you're on. Awesome place to visit if you get a chance to go. But outside of going to the beach and a few restaurants, not a ton to do there. Maldives for me too, says Seth and Rogers. Andy in Mountain Home says he'd love to dive the Maldives. Can't tolerate the 24-hour plane trip. And Jason Lowell says, give me the mountains over the beach any day, Ty. So Michael in Cave Springs agrees with you, Ty. No beach for him, thinks it's overrated. And Mark in Greenwood says he agrees with Ty. Beach is okay for a couple days. Mike in Bentonville says, give me the beach right away. So Josh wants to go to Iceland. You ever seen pictures? I have never thought of Iceland, but I've seen pictures of Iceland, particularly this time of the year. Maybe one of the most beautiful places on earth is Iceland. And then
doesn't Iceland have more greenery than Greenland has?
I feel like that's what we were taught in school back in the day. Big
I remember that.
Michael in Cave Springs would like to take a take a tour of the European theater of the for World War II. That'd be cool. Puerto Rico, says Caleb in Batesville. Puerto Rico's nowhere I've been, and I'd like to go there, but I don't know that'd be the top of my list. So anyway, what's your dream spot if you could go on one vacation? It's vacation season, and we bring Bruce Stanton in from Pradco Fishing, who's in a dream spot of sorts for some in Key West. Have you had any of that key lime pie down there?
You know, yesterday they got this thing down here called chocolate dip key lime pie. They take key lime pie and they dip it in dark chocolate and then you freeze it on a stick and you eat it like an ice cream cone. Ryan just insisted that we do that, so that was our guilty pleasure yesterday.
You had to really twist that arm, didn't she?
Pretty good stuff.
But I think I gained 2 pounds listening to you describe it. So
that sounds
incredible. What we like about Key West is it's only 2.5 hour flight from Dallas. You know, that Hawaii 8-hour stuff just gets old the older you get. So it's close, and you know, you can catch a lot of fish down here.
Yeah, it looks like y'all are having a great time from what you sent us. All right, SEC Media Days last week. We spoke with you from there on day 2, and then a couple days later it all wrapped up. Any takeaways you had from watching the coverage of SEC Media Days?
I think I'm just ready to watch everybody play some football. You know, I get tired of all the talking, and I'm ready to watch it.
Yeah, I think you get a sense of the players are feeling that way too. I remember Phil was asking Landon Jackson about that. I think you get, and I know it's been summer, so there's going to be a time period off. But once they enter fall camp, which I believe is next Friday, they're going to get tired of hitting their own guys. They want to hit someone else, and that's not just a Landon Jackson thing. That's the rest of the team, the rest of the players on other teams as well. When it comes to this time of year, as we kind of look at what happened this past week, I mean, it was a dud, Bruce, and there really wasn't anything that's substantial that came out of last week. And you hate that just because you need something to talk about, but that's just kind of the reality of what happened at Dallas. It was kind of boring.
Well, you know, you're kind of post-Saban, so you don't have anyone dressing down the media or just saying iconic type stuff now. So Kirby's not a talker, and Lane talks a lot, but, you know, until he wins something, I don't know how much we want to hear him. So it's just a little different dynamic without the big coach.
Yeah, it is. And he was the star of the show this past week. ESPN, SEC Network really doing their best to promote the former Alabama head coach who, again, has looked pretty good on the television screen. So we got the predicted order finished. That's the SEC media. We'll see what we have in the Pradco Pyramid of Power.
Who were the best football teams in the SEC? Let's find out.
Perhaps I could be of some assistance.
This is the Pradco Pyramid of Power.
So I just want to be clear on the assignment. You want us to go through the top 6 or so teams we think going into this year, right?
You want to do 16, you can. If you want to do 6.
Well, I was just trying to make sure I was clear from your note. I probably should have asked you before we started the segment, but I've just got the kind of the predicted order of finish I've got in July. And I think, you can be made a fool by, trying to think in July the way it's going to finish in December. But I've got Georgia at the top. I think it's going to be awfully hard for someone to unseat the dynasty in the making. And, Bruce, I think with a championship this year, you've got to crown them with a dynasty at this point. That'd be 3 out of 4.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have them up top. Probably the only caveat is, they did lose the SEC championship last year, so they are beatable, and they play at Bama, at Texas, and at Ole Miss. They kind of got a tough schedule on the road, and but until someone beats them, they're number 1.
I've got Alabama number 2. I know Texas is a popular pick, but I don't think things are going to implode the way everyone, I think, is rooting for in Tuscaloosa. I've got the Crimson Tide number 2 in this league.
I agree with you. I do think they have a very tough road schedule. They got at Wisconsin out of conference, then they got Oklahoma, LSU, and Tennessee on the road, then they host Georgia. So very tough schedule, but again, kind of hard to put someone above them except Georgia right now.
Got the Longhorns at 3rd. I think they perhaps have the best quarterback, even though Quinn Ewers was not the first team All-SEC quarterback. Back from Georgia was, but I got Texas number 3.
Yeah, I agree with you. They got a big game at Michigan. That'll be tough. And obviously they play an emotional game at A&M late in the year, and then they play Georgia in Austin. That'll be a big game. And probably the biggest name quarterback who doesn't play in Arch Manning. Really surprising that he's hanging around to be a backup.
All right, so we agree so far. Georgia, Alabama, Texas, 1, 2, 3 in the Pradco Pyramid of Power. I got Ole Miss at 4.
Dang, Tommy, you copied my notes. Can Lane Kiffin win something? That's he can win 10 games, but can he get a trophy or a title? That's really they got not that bad a schedule at LSU. Then they play Georgia and OU and Oxford, and then just a bunch of typical SEC opponents. So I think they got the schedule to do something. He can figure it out.
And I think Jackson Dart's going to be a really good quarterback this year. All right, I went with Missouri next in the list at number, that'd be number 5. So.
Well, I went with the Tigers, but I went with LSU. I just think they got a better coach, and I think they got a better roster. I think, my opinion, Missouri is going to be more of a flash in the pan. I think they got a lot to replace. I think it's going to be tough for them to bag it up.
I went with Missouri simply because I think their schedule's soft. I think they
sets up for 9 or 10 wins.
It sets up for them to maybe have a better record. I don't disagree. LSU may be the better team, but I think when it comes to records at the end, Missouri may prevail just because of schedule. I went with Tennessee next, then LSU to kind of round out my Pradco Pyramid of Power. I was surprised I hadn't heard Tennessee out of your mouth at this point.
Well, that's a very good pick for the sponsor here, so I went with Tennessee number 6. Fastest offense in the SEC, and I think Nico Amaleva, I think it's going to be a breakout year for him. We saw him beat Iowa 35-0 in the bowl game, but Tennessee has to play Georgia and Alabama, and they also visit Norman for Oklahoma's first SEC game. So it's probably going to be a tough schedule. Non-conference, they play NC State, which is ranked in the top 20 as well. So tough schedule for Tennessee, but they could get it done.
So 7, 8, 9, I would have LSU, A&M, Oklahoma as my next 3 out, underneath the Pradco Pyramid of Power.
Yeah, I went Missouri, Oklahoma, A&M, so, not too far off.
And then Florida, Kentucky, Arkansas, Auburn, South Carolina, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt kind of round out my 16.
Yeah, I went Kentucky. I think Kentucky at 10th is rated real low, but it was just hard for me to put them higher. I think they'll do better. Florida, Auburn, South Carolina, Arkansas 14th, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt. I'd say outside of Hugh Freeze, those bottom 5 coaches are they need to do something. Florida, South Carolina, Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt.
All right, who's the so let's divert the conversation there. So it's easy to pick who's at the top. Who's going to be the surprise team? Because I believe one of those 5 teams you just listed, and we've got them all together in the same bucket, one of them's going to jump out and surprise some people, win some games they didn't expect. And I'm not saying win the league, but maybe end up at 8-4 or 9-3 when a lot of people think they're 5-7, 6-6 material. Who's the surprise team out of that group?
Well, I mean, my opinion would be Auburn. I think with Freeze having his second year, getting his roster around him, probably has a chance. I think South Carolina will be a little better too, but the rest of them, not sure. I got a lot of definitely don't have a lot of confidence in Florida, which doesn't hurt my feelings.
I'd say Auburn. Peyton Thorne's back for another year. They brought in an incredible wide receiver group compared to the rest of the SEC. I'd go with the Tigers, even though they have to. You're talking about Tennessee's schedule, Bruce. Auburn has to go on the road in both Tuscaloosa and in Athens, which they played both teams pretty tight last year. It's just that's a brutal road schedule.
Yeah. And people want to talk about Sam Pittman and him, the expectations and not making a bowl game and not getting, maybe not being retained. Hugh Freeze goes 4-8, 5-7, something like that again. It won't scare Auburn to make a move. And, even after 2 years, I think this is a year not to put yourself in that position of your Hugh Freeze.
No, they're tired of losing, taking it on the chin. They might just double Kiffin's salary this time, see if that'll work.
And then, I don't know about Shane Beamer and kind of where he goes. South Carolina doesn't have the crazies kind of like Auburn, but I think out of that group, I'd probably tend to agree that it's Auburn. I hope it's Arkansas. And I think, until we see this offensive line and this Bobby Petrino ran offense, we were talking earlier, Bruce, it's hard to put a number on how many wins it cost you a year ago. 5 games that was decided by a possession or less. And you had all the dysfunction with the offense that's, and I'm basing that on you made a midseason move on a coordinator in his first year. There's clearly some disconnects there. How with an improved offensive line, to change at quarterback, I don't know, without having Rocket at running back, and if you keep a healthy Luke Haas all year, could Arkansas be that kind of surprise team from that pack of teams we listed?
And that's hard to say. Obviously, last year's team with last year's roster, most Razorback fans, immediately think of Brigham Young. There's a couple of games where just poor decisions cost you some wins. So I don't know if the roster's going to be there to duplicate that, but there's always a hope and a prayer, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think with Bobby Petrino, running things and more stability, you might say, on the offensive side. If you can keep your defense as good or maybe slightly better than last year, I'm not saying you're going to turn 4-8 into 8-4, but I do think this is a team that could, certainly go to a bowl game. I think the talent's there to at least crack 6-6, maybe 7-5 this year.
I think I remember this time last year, Ty was like touting KJ to be a outside dark horse Heisman Trophy candidate and possibly win 10 games. He's kind of backed off all that.
Weren't they going to win at LSU and at Bama? Or
I think so.
Something.
I had 3 points off on both those games. Trust me, I remember that vividly, and unfortunately, neither of those came true. Yeah, Bruce, I was saying earlier in the show, I listened back to what I was saying around this time last year. I was pretty staunch in this idea of team at least getting to 8 wins. They instead had 8 losses and didn't do anything. That just goes back to, they're really the only opinions. My opinion doesn't matter. Your opinion doesn't matter. Tommy's doesn't matter. It's what the opinion of the coach and the team in that locker room. And if they have belief in themselves, like Sam Pittman has let known publicly, then these preseason rankings and opinions are all for naught. I think all of us would much rather them be not touted at all in the preseason and wind up winning 6 or 7 games than highly touted as they were last year's, picked 3rd in the SEC West and unfortunately flounder as they did. So, again, we'll see how it plays out. I think I wonder, losing Cam Little is as close as some of those games were last year. We're talking about these 1-score games. There's still an ongoing kicker battle. You don't have that luxury of a 50-yard plus field goal in the back of your pocket which you did last year, and honestly, which kept you in certain games, kept you in the Florida game, kept you in other games. That's going to be, I don't know if it's an issue, but it's definitely a question mark for this football team, along with that linebacker core on defense and just the depth that you mentioned typically, because that's faces Arkansas every year.
Mm-hmm. And
what's your prediction on the A&M game? Is it going to be just another torturous way to lose?
Well,
or are they going to
last
pull
year-
this last one out?
Last year was embarrassing. I mean, KJ was on his back probably 50% of the downs. That was one of the worst offensive line performances I think I've ever seen. I think it's going to be more like it has been the previous years, where it's a one-score ball game. I mean, I don't know how you can bet on Arkansas based on what's happened in that stadium since A&M's joined the SEC. I mean, there's been, since 2014, you've had 2 games that haven't been close in the fourth quarter, 2016, and then this game last year. Every other game's been awesome in terms of a college football game. Just hasn't gone Arkansas's way. So even with the first-year head coach, I'm not picking Arkansas to win that game because they haven't proved in the last decade that they're worthy of that prediction. I hope I'm wrong about that. They've got to win that football game. Because, I mean, to win one game in Jerry World since the thing got renewed in the SEC is a joke. And even they've been close. It's hard to stomach as an Arkansas fan that you still hold a overall series victory total over Texas A&M, even with the last decade and how it's gone.
Well, that's dominance for decades in the Southwest Conference. But, to me, the question is, because you spoke of this last week, and I agree, that the road schedule, the teams, at least the perception right now on the road,
It's
are going to be
easier.
So who at home can, how many home games will you win in SEC play? Obviously, you got, Texas, LSU, and Tennessee, and Ole Miss. I mean, none are easy, Bruce. And can you split that schedule? If you went 2-2 in that schedule, I think everyone would take that right now.
Oh, I think everybody'd sign up for that right now. I think the reality is it's probably looking more like 1-3 or 0-4 against those teams. But yeah, I mean, if you could cut a deal and go 2-2, who wouldn't take that?
Yeah,
you could beat LSU coming off the bye at night. Tennessee's going to be a toss-up. I don't know about Texas and Ole Miss late November. Maybe those teams aren't ready for the Fayetteville cold, but you should beat Mississippi State on the road in year one of Jeff Levy. Like, that is it. And it's not often that you should win on the road in the SEC. You should beat the Bulldogs in year one under Levy. That you have to get that road win in this conference when you look at the other ones. Auburn's just kind of whatever. Missouri at the end of the year, they're going to be vying for maybe 10 wins or a high-profile bowl game. And then A&M and the neutral side that we talked about, it's been cursed for Arkansas.
Well, Bruce, man, you're in a great place with great weather in Key West, enjoying some time away. But, man, back here at home base, we've had, for July standards, we have had a well above average weather right now, 80s, low 90s. How's that affecting the fishing? I know this for the anglers that are going, it's awfully enjoyable right now.
Well, fishing's good, and we actually heard some statistics at our annual trade show last week. There were actually 57 million anglers who went fishing this year, which was more than went fishing during COVID. So fishing's picking up a lot of steam. A lot of people are fishing, and a lot of that, especially if we live in Arkansas, means we got a great resource. We appreciate the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission and, all the hatcheries and how they stock our fisheries. And, it's a great time to be out on creeks and rivers like the Kings River, Lee Creek, Washita River, throwing little crickhopper poppers, yum dingers, and catching a lot of fish. Like you said, we've had cooler temperatures. It makes it more bearable to be out there in a kayak or a canoe and make a 3-hour trip, a 6-hour trip, because you can stand it. But the river's hot right now, top water early, boss pops, pop-ars, and just about anywhere you go, you used to be able to catch them in these cooler temperatures.
All right, Bass Pro, or you can find out everything at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and hey, it's a great time to take the kids or the grandkids, or find your favorite creek or pond, or we are blessed with so many reservoirs to fish here that you're probably never more than a 30-minute drive from a great fishing spot.
You're exactly right. And hey, if you happen to get lucky enough to come to Key West, go to LureNet or BassPro.com, buy you a bunch of bomber mullets, and come down and catch a bunch of barracudas and snapper.
That sounds great, but I want to catch some of that. What'd you say? Chocolate-covered key lime pie?
Yeah, that's the real
chocolate-covered
catch
key
right
lime
there.
pie.
I bet the fish should bite on that too. So, All right,
I know
man.
I will.
Enjoy your time there, and we'll see you back with, I guess, probably a better tan next week when we catch up again.
All right, see y'all.
All right, Bruce Stanton, Pradco Fishing, live from Key West, Florida, breaking away from a little time off this morning, doing a little fishing in, I guess, the southernmost point of the United States in Key West.
That would be a fun place to do the morning rush program. But he did send me a picture of the barracuda. Those are not nice looking fish if they got your mouth on one of them. What's the scariest thing you've ever seen in person? Mine's got to be a snake of some sort, but I've never. I guess I've seen eels when we did the
not
hang
a snake
gliding.
guy. Scariest thing in person. I don't have to think about that a minute, but snakes would be somewhere way up at the top.
Do you think? Would you be in a situation where is Laura scared of snakes?
No, spiders. Snakes didn't bother. Snakes bother me. Spiders don't bother me.
Would you tell her to have to kill the snake, or would you still
I can kill
take
the
the
snake.
plunge?
Yeah, I can do that.
See, snakes and spiders are kind of the same to me. You don't want them to bite you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay away at all costs.
So, hey, one of the things about fishing on the White River with that cool water coming through the bottom of the Bull Shoals Dam, you never have to really worry about snakes in a cold water river. So, hey, if you're like me, you don't like snakes, the White River's the perfect place, and Gaston's is the spot. Hey, they have 80 private cabins and lodges. And I know that, summers, it's unbelievable how quick summer is going by this year. Here we are, and kids are less than a month from going back to school already. And now's the time to get to Gaston's and, get that last weekend getaway, that last weekday getaway, burn up some of that time. 80 private cabins and lodges, great restaurant that overlooks the river. Each of their cabins, most come with a full kitchen so you can enjoy your own meals if that's what you choose to do as well. 870-431-5202. Book a guided fishing trip with Gaston's experts. Gaston's White River Resort. A first-class time every time.
You want to listen to your favorite Hit That Line podcast? We've got you covered. Just click on the podcast tab at the top of hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line anywhere you listen to podcasts.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
Touchdown, Arkansas!
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with the exciting news. Backed by popular demand, state sales tax paid when you trade on our huge inventory of road-ready certified vehicles. That's right. This month, get the best used car your money can buy, road-ready certified with warranty, and get your state sales tax paid when you trade. One more reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Has your job been grinding your gears lately? Then let me tell you about Lavorne Lumber. They're looking to fill a regional over-the-road position. They use brand new equipment in your home every weekend. Don't think you're getting paid enough? That's not the case at Lavorne Lumber. They're highly competitive in that area. So if this sounds like a great next job opportunity for you, then stop by and see Pam and the Bills Monday through Friday from 9 to 4 at Lavorne Lumber. 515 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith and online at Lavorne, Lovvorn lumber.com.
Summer camp, vacation, travel baseball, repeat. Family reunion, lake time, I'm beat. A parent in the summertime is a glorified chauffeur, but if you find yourself in a fender bender, you'll need a good lawyer. I'm Jackie Mock. With 12 years of experience in insurance and car wreck cases, I can help get you back on the road for more summer fun. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Now we will share a lifetime of the fondest memories.
What's new at Wheeler Power Sports? Short answer, a lot. All new Kawasaki Ninja 500, Z500, Eliminators, and Mule Pro Diesels. New Kawasaki Ridge side-by-side is now arriving. New Polaris Expeditions and Ranger XD 1500s. New Suzuki GSX 8R. New 2024 model Polaris Slingshots, including the Roush Edition, are now in stock. Check us out online at WheelerPowersports.com or stop by and see us at downtown Fort Smith at 901 North 11th Street. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
We still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown Bar District.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pick up, home. Drop off downtown Bar District.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote. Get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
What's John Calipari up to? He was at Peach Jam the other day and had some thoughts on how things have been going this summer with your Arkansas basketball team.
My job this summer is to help you be your best version. And then when you come back, I'll worry about putting a team together. But you want every player to say, I've never been better. This is the best I've ever been as a player. And then my job is to get them together and get them to play.
As you can tell, there's an EYBL event going on in the background. That is the Peach Jam. Had some other kind of things to say about
one of the bigger, more elite tournaments in the country.
Plenty of great prospects that Cal and his staff have been able to get their eyes on, and possibility of them coming to your basketball program in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And just a reminder, Darius Cuff, he has his college decision, top 10, top 15 kid, depending on what recruiting ranking you follow this Friday. I think it's 5, if I remember that right. So possibly, we've talked about, you got 17 commits in football for 2025. Unless I missed one, you don't have any for basketball. So could get the first one on Friday if he picks Arkansas over the Michigan Wolverines and the Kansas Jayhawks. Pete Thamel, Reese Davis, talking college football this season. Reese, of course, the host of College Game Day and the College Game Day podcast. When looking at the second week of the season in Stillwater, Oklahoma, kind of in the same line of thinking that we have, here's what Reese had to say about if Arkansas pulls it out at Boone Pickens Stadium.
Something goes wrong. On the flip side, if Arkansas were to, say, win in Stillwater, which would be an unexpected result, as you cautioned us earlier, maybe not to be shocked by anything, but to me, that would be an unexpected result. Sure. If Arkansas goes to Stillwater and beats Oklahoma State. If they do that, now all of a sudden they feel a little bit better about themselves. They start to believe in this guy from Boise State. You know, Bob Petrino's had a lot of success with quarterbacks like Taylor Green from Boise State. You start getting some momentum. You say, hey, this guy's working out at Arkansas. He can play at this level. You win a game on the road behind him. You know, then you start believing a little bit.
I was thinking about this as I was listening to these comments. Would there be a bigger shift in the Sam Pittman era on how the fan base feels about him and the football program based off that win? Like, think about where each juncture's been since Sam's got here. He came in, he initially won 3 games in the league. 2 years prior, Chad Morris didn't win one. You think about some of the other wins and losses. Unfortunately, the Texas A&M game went as it did 2 years ago, and things kind of have shifted. Honestly, since that play, have shifted, but this would again shift it back in Sam Pittman's favor. I don't know if there would be more of a positive lift for this program outside of maybe that first SEC win in year one, which I believe is Mississippi State, than that potentially coming up in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Well, I think it's a huge tone setter for the year. I would imagine Oklahoma State's probably going to have a ranking next to their name when you play, and Arkansas will not, obviously. So tone setter for the year. I would imagine there's going to be a decent number of Razorback fans that take the short drive. We were talking about this in a conversation I had with someone yesterday or day before. The drive to Stillwater for someone from Fayetteville is probably less than the drive to War Memorial for the opener on that Thursday.
How about that?
I don't know, but it's not going to be much longer if at all. So, yeah, I expect there'd be a good crowd of Razorback fans there. That is such a big tone setter, I think, for recruiting. Yeah, I don't know if it's a signature win because I think Texas still probably is right now, but that would be right up there. I mean, and I think set the table to maybe go win at Auburn a couple weeks later.
All right, I need a miles guess from both of you. What is the approximate mileage from Boone Pickens Stadium to Donald W. Reynolds Raceback Stadium? Big C, get on this.
147 would be my guess.
Okay, it is 176 miles between Donald W. Reynolds Raceback Stadium and Fayetteville. So 3 hours, 7 minutes, like you said. I mean, with traffic, you going to Little Rock, you honestly might have a shorter trip to Boone Pickens Stadium than going to War Memorial Stadium. More football news. Nigel Pringle commits to Arkansas, 17th commit for the Razorback football program in the class of 2025. Has been offered by some other schools, including the Oregon Ducks, kind of North Shore, Houston area. So another addition for Arkansas football.
How many miles between Razorback Stadium and War Memorial? He says 170 what?
176.
Over or under?
I'm going to say over because of the Stillwater. It's not all highway. Is it over to Little Rock?
Slightly. 189 miles.
189. 13 more miles, but yet it's quicker. That's just kind of the Oklahoma State. It's Stillwater. It's not hard to get to, but it's like it's not a main highway for the most part.
You just take 412 over there, and then you get off on that expressway or toll road and go right into Stillwater.
A little over 3 hours to get there, but I, like you, think there'll be a good chunk of Arkansas fans that
do it under 3.
Make the trek over there. Some more news for you here in your Hog Update. Connor Nolan's going to join us at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Excited to get the hopefully former or soon-to-be Chicago Cub. I don't know if that timeline's going to be happening this season, but probably next year we will see Connor Nolan pitching in a uniform from Wrigley. And like even as a Cardinal fan, you can't. Like, it's always funny to see Razorback fans that have affiliation with pro teams, and then when a former Razorback makes the team, like me watching Dre Greenlaw pick off not one but 2 passes in the, I guess it was divisional last year. I was just like, I can't be mad at this because it's a Fayetteville kid and it's an Arkansas Razorback. But for Connor, I know that's going to be an exciting timeline. He's yet to reach yet, but it looks like he's well on his way.
That's great to see his progression over the last couple of years. So. Glad we're going to get a chance to chat with him tomorrow.
A couple guys that have signed recently with the MLB. I was reading a report in Whole Hogs. Peyton Stovall signs for $625,000. Ben McLaughlin for $75K, and then Jake Faraday actually got some money, a little unexpected money, $200,000 signing bonus. So good for those former Arkansas Razorbacks that hopefully will have pro careers beyond the minor leagues, especially for Payne. I think that's expected. All right, that is your Hog Update this morning. It's brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
I was reading a story in the Hot Springs Sentinel, Tommy. There's a bit of an argument or a bit of debate about parking in the area, as there often is, not just in Hot Springs, but the natural state. It's expensive on Dixon Street. Sometimes it's free on Garrison. I remember paying, I think it was $50. I paid. Tried to pay. Kirkman Doherty ended up covering the bill on this $50 fee in San Francisco for a parking garage. What is the most you've ever paid for parking?
probably at one of these hotels we've been to
That's where I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, 40, 50. I mean, you go to a downtown hotel anymore to self-park your car, it has become ridiculous.
Yeah.
Last year in Nashville, same story. I mean,
think it was more, wasn't it more expensive?
I think it was in Nashville last year it was, but I mean, 40, 50, 60 bucks to park your car at a hotel, in addition to the $200-$300 it is, we talk about inflation, there's no $100 rooms anymore anywhere to stay. I mean, even in Vegas where you think about, hey, cheap hotels and cheap trip, nope, not anymore. So I would say probably at a hotel where we've paid an exorbitant fee just to self-park. It was like $30 a car last week in Dallas.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. It's
Per
30,
night.
30 for self-park, 40 for valet, and I think Nashville was even more expensive last year. It was nice when we had a deal with the old radio station I worked at where the marketing director would give me just the little tickets to expense that, but we didn't have those last year.
Validate your parking?
Yeah, to validate the parking. I'll tell you what, I never thought that parking would reach the extremes it has, but geez, especially like the hotel might be the worst, and you're already spending an exorbitant amount of money to begin with. Like
that's why you got to factor all that into your trip. Maybe it might be easier to fly and Uber over than it is to pay all that. Yeah, it might be cheaper on you that way. Hey, the Fence Man, it brings you Fence Man Friday picks. Looking forward to that again. If you're looking for a great company to build you a great fence around your home or business, that's where the Fence Man can step up and give you a custom quote for whatever the project you have. Big or small, doesn't matter. Commercial or residential, doesn't matter. Wood, chain link, privacy, vinyl, doesn't matter. Custom ornamental iron, they do it all. Got a great welding shop. They got great craftsmen that can build you a quality fence. 782-3936. We trust him. You will too. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Hour number 3, Lindsay Associates Pro Hog Update next.
Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Work now, pay later with sizzling savings at WT Equipment. No money down, no interest, and no payments until 2025 on select New Holland equipment. Choose 0 for 60 or up to 10,000 cash back plus free net wrap on roll belt round balers. 0 for 72 or up to 10,000 cash back on mid-range tractors, or 0 for 72 plus an additional 2,000 cash back on a new compact. Work smarter with no money down, no interest, and no payments on your choice of the summer's hottest deals. At WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV. Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is the Morning Rush.
Whether you are fishing a jetty on the Arkansas River or working around laydowns at Beaver, Washita, or Table Rock, the Head and Super Spook Jr. is the topwater bait to call up summer bass. The Super Spook Jr. is a smaller version of the world's most famous topwater lure. The Spook is the original walk-the-dog lure and has been tricking big bass for almost 100 years. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. The Head and Super Spook Jr.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Get up to $6,500 off on 2024 GMC Sierras or $4,000 off and as low as 1.9% financing for 36 months with approved credit at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 has a 5.3-liter V8 engine, so you can conquer the road with confidence. Up to $6,500 off or $4,000 in discounts and as low as 1.9% financing. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
This is Chuck Fawcett with Chuck Fawcett Realty. When I have an HVAC problem or a plumbing problem, I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940. Blaylock Heating and Air.
So to have a red truck rolling your way today, give us a call. That's Blaylock Heating and Air Conditioning for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and drain cleaning needs and great York Home products. It's just one number you need to know. That's 782-8940.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
Hot summer soon gives way to fall hunting season. And with the new Arkansas Early Bow Hunt, now is the time to get your new Hoyt Alpha X or the Carbon RX-8 dialed in. Check out the new Lift compounds from Matthews, the bow that puts aluminum in a new light. Sub 4 pounds and shooting 348 feet per second. Jelco Outdoors, your full-line archery store in the River Valley. Get ready for fall bow hunting at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make Awake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make Awake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make Awake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make Awake Bait and Tackle.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, just a slight chance of a shower with thunderstorm north. Further south, we'll see a better chance of wet and stormy weather. High temperatures in the lower 80s. Clear north for some patchy fog, mid 60s. Chance of some showers and storms, upper 60s further south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grain Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 37 days.
We intend to continue to fight every day for the ACC and its members. Where there are disagreements or disputes, I intend to continue to deal with them in a respectful and honorable fashion. The ACC will remain a healthy and vibrant conference that competes at the highest level.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Good morning, gentlemen. Let me rephrase that. You got two gentlemen. You got one ain't earned it yet, has he?
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
It's
You were talking about going to Key West. We were discussing maybe places we wanted to visit. Bruce Stan Bradco Fishing just sent us a picture of that key lime pie dipped in chocolate that we were talking about, Tommy. We had a listener by the name of Barry who went with his youngest son to Key West last month, said it's the best dessert maybe he's ever had from Kermit's. It does look delicious. We're going to have to, I don't know.
Chocolate dip key lime pie.
Think we get those shipped here?
Just when you think life couldn't get any better.
Yeah.
And those are the real key limes. The true key lime pie.
Right down there. All right, we got a lot to get to. Tom Murphy joining us. We got our Lindsay and Associates Pro Hog update coming up. Here, Jim Phillips there talking about the ACC. Doesn't sound like it's dead yet. I do have some good news, though. The wasp's nest in my house are dead. 3 of them. I thought there was just 2, and then I walked around the perimeter of the house. There's 3 of them. Let me tell you something. We're talking about being scared of snakes earlier, which you and I both share that. When you're spraying like a wasp nest, you only think there's 3 or 4, and then like 10 or 15 jump out. That's a scary thing to do, man.
Did you retreat quickly?
Oh, I ran for the hills.
Did you scream?
Yeah, I didn't scream, but I took off in a dead sprint. So I've knocked out 1 of now my 24 items I have to get to on the house, and I'm just going to slowly try and knock these out one by one. But they are dead. The ACC is not dead.
Did you knock down the nest?
No, it didn't come down.
You got to go knock those down.
How do you
just go come back?
How do you knock them down? Is the
Take a
poison
broom or a handle?
Okay,
or,
all right. I'm going to add that to my list.
You killed the wasps, but you didn't. You need to knock the nest down.
Knock the nest down.
I saw something. You can put a fake nest, and they are supposed to stay away if you put like a fake nest up.
Really?
Knock down wasp nest.
Yeah. You don't want those on your house anyway.
Okay.
So. Hey, speaking of trips, we're talking about Key West. How about the football trip of a lifetime? Tie another chance to qualify today between 11 and 1 at Hardee's. If you can eat a monster burger in 150 seconds or less, you're automatically qualified for the finals. Another chance today and another one on Thursday with Hardee's and ESPN Arkansas.
Yeah, I'll be at Rogers Avenue today from 11 to 1. Big C will be at the Salisal location from 11 to 1. So if you haven't already, we had 2 guys, 2 of my buddies actually completed last week, signed up. So if you wanted your chance to win that football trip of a lifetime like Tommy's talking about between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles in Jerry World, then you got to come by and eat a monster burger in 120 seconds or less. And it's going to be a great time. Going to be there from 11 to 1 at the Rogers Avenue location, and then Big C at the Salisal location from 11 to 1 on Thursday. All right, let's get into our Lindsay and Associates Pro Hog Update.
This is the Lindsay and Associates Pro Hog Update. Whether you're listing, selling, or leasing, Lindsay and Associates can handle all your real estate needs. Go to lindsay.com to search all the current real estate inventory. At Lindsay and Associates, we bring great neighbors together.
Fly ball to straightaway center. Tavares tracking it. Tavares at the wall. It's a gunner. Heston hammers one to dead center field. And it's a 2-hit, 3 RBI start to the night for Heston Kjerstad. Welcome back to the big leagues, young man.
I did see Bobby Portis announce his candidacy for president. I don't know if you've seen that picture, but he was at the...
Might be a little late to get on the ticket this year, but who knows with what's going on in politics.
So outside of that, with BP, what else is going on with some Pro Hogs, Big C?
Well, we've had a few Hogs drafted since we had our last update, and it's quite a list. We obviously know Hagen Smith was taken in the first round by the White Sox, Peyton Stovall to the Reds, Mason Molina to the Brewers, Jared Sprague-Lott was drafted by the Oakland Athletics, Hudson White was taken by the Boston Red Sox, Ben McLaughlin to the Arizona Diamondbacks. We've got Jake Faraday to the Miami Marlins. Brady Tygart was picked up by the Boston Red Sox. And we've got Tyson Lewis to the Reds, Eli Lovich taken by my Cubs.
So Lewis and Lovich are the 2 high school kids, correct?
Yes.
And it sounds like those are the only 2 that are going to move on to the professionals by bypassing Arkansas, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so that's not, again, he got hit pretty hard in the draft last year. It doesn't sound like it's going to be his condition. I know Stone Hewlett signed a free agent deal. I can't remember who with the team, but I think it's 8 Razorbacks that were drafted, the 2 high school kids, plus Hewlett and maybe another free agent deal. So you had a lot of activity when it comes to Arkansas baseball these last couple weeks, I guess the last week or so when it comes to MLB draft. Plus, Again, we were in town last weekend, Tommy and Dallas and Arlington. Not exactly a hotbed for Razorbacks that were in the All-Star game, but you're excited about Connor Nolan. I know Jackson Wiggins move up to the high A affiliate with the Cubs and some other guys that are on the move as well. It's not Pro Hog. Ryder Helfrich, I think, was the, if I remember right, I think he was the MVP of the Cape Cod League, or he was one of the home run leaders. He had high accolades from that. So you've had a lot of Razorback baseball activity lately.
Yeah, and I'm excited about, Connor Nolan being with us tomorrow about this time and get a visit with him about his journey and now in AAA ball in Des Moines for the Cubs and, presumably a step away from being in the show and maybe getting to pitch at Wrigley Field soon.
That would be for the experience for Frank and his family. I feel like his grandpa's name is Bucky. I met him 2 or 3 years ago. I feel like that's right. And that entire family to make the trek and watch his journey. I mean, I remember 2 years ago, he's in Omaha pitching the College World Series, and now on the brink of moving up to that next level is quite cool. And it, I always thought was interesting. Like, what if you grew up a fan of a certain team? Like, for example, if the Nolans grew up Cardinals fans, I have no idea what fans of and then all of a sudden your son's on that said rival. I always think that, like, talking with friends and family about
you
that,
root for your kids.
Immediately,
root for family.
Immediately change allegiances right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. Those rivalries and all that, you can put those to the wayside because blood. What is it? The old adage: blood's thicker than water. So
yeah.
So absolutely.
And then Heston Kjerstad is active again. His last game against Texas on the 21st.
That was the concussion stuff.
Golly, he got rocked.
Yeah, I got hit.
It started a brawl. The Orioles came after the Yankees after that one. I mean, they didn't take too kindly of Heston getting plunked in the head. That was rough, man. We were talking about. Remember, we had that conversation. Where would you not want to get hit? Not that the kneecap or the midsection would feel great, but when you're getting hit in the head at a 90-plus-hour fastball, that is. Ugh.
So
I'll avoid that at all costs.
That's good to see. Back in action.
All right, that's your Pro Hog Update brought to you by Lindsay Associates. They're celebrating more than 50 years in the real estate business, and they're all over Northwest Arkansas. You'll find them in Fayetteville, Rogers, and in Bentonville. They can help you with listing, selling, or leasing. They have over 200 professionally trained agents that can help tackle the job for you. Go to lindsay.com to search all the current real estate inventory. Hey, at Lindsay Associates, we bring great neighbors together.
So I want to play this clip and then blend it into our conversation with Tom Murphy. Pete Thamel, Reese Davis talking all things college football, and Thamel was talking about improvement for Arkansas. Just listen to this short clip.
There's a path for them to be improved off of the 4-8, 1-7, where they were last year. So I don't know if I'm sweet on Arkansas in the big picture, but I left like sweet on Sam Pittman for his candor.
Keep in mind what you think your improvement is as we chat with Tom here on the Morning Rush.
Tom Murphy is brought to you by the Arkansas Beef Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
So, Tom, I think when you look at four wins last year for the Arkansas football program, and we talk about improvement, to me, improvement is getting to 6 wins. Now, I know some will not be satisfied with that. In terms of what you think, your kind of process and your perspective, what would be improvement for this football team this year?
Well, good morning, guys. Yeah, that's a tricky question. I mean, but I think if you look at it from the big picture, improved offense. So you stay on the field longer, you convert more third downs, you score better. Quite frankly, it was amazing that they were in some of the tight games that they were in, given how poorly they executed on offense in some games. So I just think if you're more explosive, if you cut down on the amount of turnovers, and you run the ball better to start with. And with Bobby Petrino, I mean, A, you think you've got a better offensive line, and B, you probably have a more innovative scheme that can exploit things they see, then you should be better offensively. I've said it repeatedly on this air that I thought Travis Williams and the defensive staff didn't get enough credit for the defensive improvements last year, especially when you consider that the other side of the ball wasn't very efficient. So from the defensive standpoint, you've got to have linebackers that come in and help you. And I know that, they got through spring with Story and Brad Spence and Carson Dean and Caden Henley and that group. But I think the guys that transferred in over the summer that didn't go through spring are going to need to help them too. So underrated type defensive effort last year. They're clearly under the radar, being picked 14th. So improvement would be win a few more close games, get up to 6 wins, and again, it's how the product looks on the field. Are they competitive? Do they stay in there through the course of the season? That I think will all be under scrutiny.
Yeah, and how do you turn those 5 games that you lost by a possession or less into 3 of those becoming wins? I'm not saying you win every close game, but Tom, it's those handful of plays in each of those games. You got to figure out how to win those 4, 5, 6 plays that make the difference, and those are the things that keep coaches awake at night.
You absolutely do. I mean, the BYU game, you're up 14-0, and you just that was one of the games. There's the handful of games where the defense just didn't come through. That was one of them. They just didn't. But these other games, LSU, Ole Miss, Alabama, you're at a talent deficit in all of those. So you've got to have a player who kind of rises above, who makes a clutch play in a key situation, and to have a chance in those types of games. I mean, you look at the schedule. Mississippi State was a game that was just unfathomable. It was at home, and they just didn't show up basically in that game. And so you have to win that one. And now it's on the road this year. So it's a weird schedule where, like Ty pointed out last week, a lot of your more winnable type opponents are your road games. So they've got to find a way to tap into what made them good in 21. Good, a tight leadership, a team bond, and those kind of things that you can't put a measure on can pull you through in tight games, and they're going to need that against the LSUs and the Texases that they face at home.
You mentioned Arkansas being at 14th, ranked by the media. Tom, looking at where the media had teams and Arkansas and maybe where you had teams, what differences did your poll differ from the media poll?
I haven't broken it down. I mean, I had Arkansas at 13th. I put South Carolina below them. But I said on Thursday with you guys, it was so hard for me. Like, okay, I went with Georgia and Texas at the top. And then, when it gets to the ones right behind that, Alabama and Ole Miss and Missouri, Tennessee, Oklahoma, suddenly you're down into the, 9, 8, 9, 10, 11 range. And then, Arkansas beat Florida on the road last year. Did Florida bring in more talent? You could argue that they might have more talent on their roster, but they don't play each other, so it's hard to kind of compare those two. But there were subtle differences to me. I'm not as big on Missouri, even though Bob Holt pointed out to me over and over what Missouri's schedule. I mean,
noted Missouri grad, by the way.
A Missouri grad, but he's realistic. Missouri's schedule is very reasonable. So is Ole Miss's. You can get through the first 6 or 8 games, and there's a couple of tough games in there, but it's just, if you've got a schedule like that, it's much easier to get out to a hot start. And for Arkansas, you're at Oklahoma State in week 2 and at Auburn in week 4. It's just a tougher deal.
Tommy asked us a question earlier, and I thought it was well thought out. It's like the team that's kind of lower that you might have higher expectations. Tom, for me, it's Auburn. I think about what Hugh Freeze possesses as an offensive mind, who they have returning, who they added. Is there a team that maybe was ranked a little lower that you're expecting more out of in 2024?
Well, I mean, you could make that case, but then again, I mean, there's teams like Oklahoma that are around 8 or 9, and I mean, I know it's a new conference and everything, but after the first rough season under Brent Venables, they rose up. They beat Texas last year. So, I mean, look, I'm not looking at Auburn's schedule, but I'm pretty sure they're at home most of the first 5 weeks, if not, something like that of the season. So you can get off to a hot start. That can give you relative momentum. It can give your team more confidence. So, but it's the case in every year, there are teams in the SEC that are going to have certain expectations, and the performance is going to be much worse than what their fans think, because it's inevitable. 3, 4, 5 teams are going to come in a lot worse than what their fans are expecting.
Yeah. Tom Murphy with us here on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by the Arkansas Beef Council. Let's talk about the defense. We focused a lot on the offense, quarterback, Bobby Petrino. That seemed to suffocate most of the conversation last week. Travis Williams' defense, can it be improved over last year? It was serviceable. Can it be better this year behind Landon Jackson's leadership?
I think there's a chance it can. Like I said earlier on this call, I mean, I thought they were a little underrated what they did. They were right in the middle of the pack in the SEC and in the 40s nationally in total yards, and that's serviceable if you're Arkansas with the accrued talent you have. I think up front, they're going to be pretty good. I like Cam Ball. I've liked him he's got a great attitude. He's stuck with the program, and you have to appreciate that. Landon Jackson coming back is really huge. If Nico DeValier and Eric Gregory and Kiwi Rose, some of the backup, like if Quincy Rhodes can rise up, I think they have a gem in Quincy Rhodes, and maybe this is the year. Landon Jackson talked about him at media days that he's always had great pass rush moves. If they can get him stabilized on being a stopper on the run, his playing time will increase. So I think they have a chance to be good up front. Travis Williams especially is a linebacker, so I expect them to, I expect them to fill in, even though they're going to get snaps out of a bunch of guys they didn't get snaps out of last year. And then on the back end, pass coverage from the safety position I think has been an issue. Foot speed and such with Jaden Johnson, Hudson Clark. If they can make it where they don't have to cover super long, and I think at cornerback they could be okay. So to answer your question in a roundabout way, I think they can be a little bit better this year.
Yeah, and the way the schedule starts, I think you got enough early tests in that first month, and man, if you can find a way to be 3-1 when you go to Arlington, I think you're going to be in a pretty good position this year to be in a bowl game. And that when we asked Coach last week kind of what the definition was for success, he threw the word playoff out there, but he said postseason at a minimum. And I think getting to 6-6 is kind of the bar they all know they need to clear.
I think you're right. That's a reasonable request. I know the schedule's tough, but I'm with you. If they can be 3-1, which means they've beaten either Auburn or Oklahoma State going into Arlington, and with a new coaching staff, who knows? I mean, Bobby Petrino knows a lot of the Texas A&M philosophies, and certainly knows their talent. So I'd give them a fighter's chance against A&M in Arlington this year. So who knows, man? I mean, it's week to week. It's how does your locker room coalesce? What's your game plan look like for that week? And I go back to 21. If they can find that kind of unity that you can't put a value on, I mean, you can't rate it, they'll have a chance to be a solid team this year.
Yeah, and addition by subtraction, just I don't know if you call it dysfunction, but there was certainly a disconnect with Dan Enos and that offense last year. Remove that element that clearly has an impact on morale and attitude and everything else. That's got to be worth something. I don't know what it's worth, but it's worth something.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. And yeah, you can't rate that either. I mean, it's like, at what point did KJ kind of say, this isn't working for me? I'm getting paid. I mean, I'm not like bagging on KJ and Rocket, but they got good NIL deals. KJ got a little big. I think he lost some of the locker room and some interest at some point. And Rocket just wasn't the same from week one when he tweaked his knee and he was a little bit big. And you talked about, South Carolina talked about all the weight he lost. Yeah. I mean, he's motivated now. He had a bad season. So yeah, there's some value to that. There's kids like Rashad DeBinion who are really good players who are in it for, it seems, the right reasons, didn't transfer. And I'm not saying that kids who transfer and get bigger NIL deals aren't in it for the right reasons, but, there's a certain motivation level. And I think DeBinion, Jaquin, and Jackson are going to be a pretty good 1-2 combo with the young guys behind them at running back.
All right, Tom, let's do it again Thursday. I guess we'll be 5 weeks from the opener when we chat again.
Sounds good. See ya.
All right, Arkansas Democrat Gazette's own Tom Murphy joins us on Tuesdays and Thursdays here on the Morning Rush. It's presented to you by the Arkansas Beef Council. You know, on cattle ranches, calves aren't only raised by their mothers. They're raised by a community of farmers, ranchers, and veterinarians committed to giving the healthiest, most comfortable life possible. Because for cattle farmers, ranchers, and the moms of those baby calves, animal welfare is their top priority. Together, we bring more beef. It's What's for Dinner. It's brought to you by the Arkansas Beef Council, the farmers and ranchers, and courtesy of Beef. It's whatsfordinner.com.
All right, so when we return, Team USA got a 4-point win over Germany yesterday. Also, some other basketball news concerning the future of Inside the NBA and TNT. That's what we'll get to when we come back, plus your calls and texts on the hotline at 877-377-6963. More of a Bandwagon Tuesday coming up next.
I guess there's pros and cons to procreating.
Most of the pros are over at the very beginning of the process.
You're listening to the Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Summertime in Arkansas means pond and creek fishing, and nothing catches bass and bluegill in a pond like a Rebel crick hopper. You can twitch it, pop it, walk it, and swim it. It's the ultralight fishing lure that looks and acts like a real grasshopper. The crick hopper works great in tandem with light spinning rods and reels with 4 or 6 pound fishing line. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. The Rebel crick hopper.
It started as a dream, and here you are. It's moving day. But wait, isn't moving supposed to be stressful? Oh, that's right. You bought your home using Weichert Realtors. Your Weichert agent guided you from start to finish to help make sure we found you your perfect place. Dream, move, home, Weichert. Call your local Weichert Realtors office today and make your move. And look for our bright yellow signs. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
This is the Morning Rush.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news. Backed by popular demand, state sales tax paid when you trade on our huge inventory of road-ready certified vehicles. That's right. This month, get the best used car your money can buy, road-ready certified with warranty, and get your state sales tax paid when you trade. One more reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Calling all biscuit lovers. Hardee's limited edition blueberry biscuits are the stuff of biscuit dreams. Our famous buttermilk biscuits with summer's favorite berries baked in, served warm, and drizzled with icing. Don't miss your chance to try this special summertime treat while blueberry biscuits are still in season and ripe for the picking. Only at Hardee's. Goodness in the making. Order ahead on the Hardee's app. Participation may vary. Exclusions apply by time of day.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything, service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbor since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
If it was me or Ty seated in that box as a jury of your peers, which one would you rather have?
It depends on the charges.
Subscribe to the Bud Light Morning Rush podcast. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, and share.
It was all LeBron James down the stretch for Team USA yesterday. He had 11 points in the final 4 minutes for USA basketball. It was phenomenal. I want to talk about that win over Germany coming up in just a bit. Also, some other basketball news to get into as well as we continue on here on a Bandwagon Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you with us. Reminder, we'll be at Hardee's today, Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Your chance to qualify for the football trip of a lifetime. You can do that there as well. Bet Saracen, if you haven't downloaded their app to your phone, the Olympics are coming up. And there is a ton of fun stuff to have some entertainment with the Bet Saracen app. Live betting and all the fun things that you can do there. But they'll have a full slate of, in fact, you can click on it right now when you go to the app and download it. You can get all sorts of things from medal counts to the pentathlon. I'm just kind of scrolling through the soccer finals and lots more. That's all there as well. It's the Olympics coming up soon. Have some fun with it. Download that Bet Saracen app, the official sports betting app of the Morning Rush, and Arkansas's #1 sports betting mobile app.
I wonder what you would have won if you would have bet on South Sudan and they would have won, because I think it was anywhere from like 35 to their 40-something points underdogs. How much you would have won on that money line on that? You would have bet on them.
If it was, it'd have been plus probably 600-700. I would guess.
Yeah, it would be quite a haul that you'd get. If
I don't know what the odds on that. It might have been bigger than that.
And you ended up getting that. All right, let's talk to our friend Larry Rath of Rath Auto Resources. Larry, I've come to know that your son David at Rath Mitsubishi is a bit of a biker. What would you characterize? We're just talking maybe it's gamble a little bit. What would you characterize as a hobby of yours of sorts? What do you like to do outside of the car dealership?
I know that.
Oh, Tommy knows the answer to that. Yeah.
He loves to try fish.
I like a little fly fishing. Yeah. When I get the time.
Which, at the end of the month, there's probably not a lot of time, is it? You guys have a lot of going on, including state sales tax paid when you trade at both locations in Fort Smith and in Springdale.
Man, it really is a busy time right now, Ty. There's so many folks taking advantage of the sales tax paid when you trade at both stores. we're really excited about that, and it's helping people get into that car they've been waiting on, helping us put deals together, just making it easy for folks to get that nicer, newer car that they've been waiting for. And we've got a big selection, cars, trucks, SUVs, road ready certified with warranty. You simply cannot buy a better used car than road ready certified. And we've got those at both locations. The new Mitsubishis up in Springdale, we're real excited about that lineup of vehicles, particularly the Outlander. We've got a good selection of them. Lots of incentives. I can't keep up with all of them, but will they stack on top of each other for tremendous savings, rates as low as 0%. We're bound to be able to put a deal together for you on one of those new Mitsubishis with 5-year, 60,000-mile full coverage warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage on those cars as well. And you really just can't beat any of that. And just a beautiful car. If you haven't seen the Outlander come in and drive that, you're going to be impressed with that, and you're going to really be impressed with how much car your money can buy in this Mitsubishi lineup. If you're looking for a used car, road ready certified, the best used cars your money can buy in a big inventory, cars, trucks, SUVs, minivans, whatever it is you're looking for, we're bound to have the one that's just right for you and your family. Let us worry about getting that price and payment where it fits your budget. We'd love a chance to help you today. Don't miss out on state sales tax paid. Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith, Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale, the Meineke Car Care Centers. We haven't talked much about that, but listen, those guys are helping more people all the time. Buy 3, get 1 free on all tires right now. We sell a bunch of tires on that program. Half off brakes, free AC checks, lots of good things going on in the Meineke Car Care Centers as well. So there's still some month left here, and this week's going to be a big week. Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith, Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale. Check us out online, rathauto.com.
That's Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith and Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale. And again, when you stop by and see Larry, make sure you tell him where you're rolling to next. All right, Mr. Rath, we'll talk later this week.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one. And folks, come and see us.
All right. I don't know how many times I've said I am so ever thankful for LeBron James, but I was yesterday.
Davis. LeBron James open for series. Talk about the moment. James, lead in the clock. LeBron James bodying inside his stars. He's a man. Where does this heat take over? You have a right to do that.
I love hearing Bill Raftery on the call, first and foremost. But second, LeBron was phenomenal down the stretch yesterday. They beat Germany 92-88 in another Olympic friendly. Again, another tight game. Now, Germany's actually good. South Sudan's not. They shouldn't ever be on the same floor as the United States in terms of a close basketball game. It was a couple days ago. Germany, again, different story as we get closer and closer to the actual competition of the Olympics. But we'll see what happens in these coming weeks. I also saw Clyde Drexler, former member of the Portland Trailblazers, Houston Rockets, and the 1992 Dream Team. He's selling his Olympic gold medal for $250,000 as a starting point, as they're going to auction that off. Wow. $250,000. Now would be, I don't know if he's low on funds, but man, I don't know if I could sell that if I was on the Dream Team. But I guess he's in a situation where he doesn't feel like he needs it anymore.
Yeah. Hey, we're brought to you by the Hickey and Hull Law Partners. They're growing their firm by opening offices over the last year or two in Mena and Little Rock, and they've been in Fort Smith for, that's where they were founded, Northwest Arkansas as well. So whether you're listening in Bentonville or you're listening in Benton, they've got an office nearby to help you. If you're in Mena today, there's a quality team of attorneys to help fight through whatever issues you have, whether it's family law, civil matter, criminal matters. They can specialize. They've got attorneys on staff with their 7 decades of combined experience that specialize in each area of the law that may be your need today. So if you need someone to aggressively represent you from your corner, it's the Hickey and Hull Law Partners, 479-434-2414, or go to kevinhickeylaw.com.
SEC update next.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
Hey, everybody, this is Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio, and you are listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Whether you are fishing a jetty on the Arkansas River or working around laydowns at Beaver, Washita, or Table Rock, the Head & Super Spook Jr. is the topwater bait to call up summer bass. The Super Spook Jr. is a smaller version of the world's most famous topwater lure. The Spook is the original walk-the-dog lure and has been tricking big bass for almost 100 years. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. The Head & Super Spook Jr.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is the Morning Rush.
Touchdown, Hogs!
Summer is here and adventure is calling. Visit Southern Tire Mart for a new set of Yokohama tires to get your vehicle ready for summer travels. Southern Tire Mart is your trusted partner for top quality tires, professional services, and competitive pricing. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let Southern Tire Mart ensure your vehicle is ready for the open road. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. We keep America rolling.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Like me.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
When I go out to eat, I want something fresh. I don't want something that's been sitting in a freezer or processed. When I go to Lily Sandwich Shop, I am satisfied to the max. That's because Josefa makes everything fresh and uses that River Valley farm fresh produce during our long growing season. Stop by Lily Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District and become another satisfied customer. The sandwiches speak for themselves.
My name is Lily. My Baba makes the best sandwiches at Lily Sandwich Shop. Come by and see them at the Bakery District today.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen, because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
The good old summertime is here, and Jelco Outdoors is ready to help you have a great time. Going fishing? Jelco has one of the largest selections of fishing equipment and gear for your day on the water. Taking a vacation? Jelco has a great selection of casual shirts, shorts, and comfortable shoes to make your vacation one to remember. Fall is not far away, so start getting your bows and guns ready for fall. Jelco Outdoors, your store for all season. Have a great summer from Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Jam Mart. Jam Mart is always trying to save you money, and that's why they partner with Valero. Hook up your checking account to the Valero Pay Plus app, and you'll get 10 cents off a gallon, plus other special deals on holidays and more. Jam Mart and Valero, passing on the savings to you. Now available at the 3 Fort Smith Valero Jam Mart locations. And stop by any of the 6 Jam Mart locations in the area. Jam Mart, the leading gas station and convenience store in the region.
World-class trout fishing is the star of the show at Gaston's White River Resort, where a few days away from all the worries and stress will make all right in your world. Gaston's has friendly, experienced guides to help you land your limit. Enjoy your stay at Gaston's in one of their private cottages, or reserve a lodge for up to 20 people. Call now and let Gaston's help you plan your next getaway on the White River. 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Or learn more at Gastons.com. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
Walk-Ons is always a win. Win. Whether it's for a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner, Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into their mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
But except we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. Trusted pool experts and your source for backyard fun. Locations in Fort Smith, Springdale, and always online at burtonpools.com.
So Brian and Kim Kimry have donated $20 million, 10 for football, 10 for baseball, to the Oklahoma Sooners. Apparently they already donated $5 million back in 2022. Tommy, this is the 5th time that Oklahoma has got an 8-figure donation. I think I read this in Sooner Scoop, if I remember that right. But it's the largest in their history recently. So it's, again, even in July, a couple weeks later, it's still weird saying Oklahoma's an SEC school. But we talked about the Missouri donation a couple months back, and Oklahoma getting a big donation for their football and baseball program.
We were speaking, I don't know if it's Richard Cross or maybe it's Brett Norsworthy. One of them talking about the NIL fund at Ole Miss was $63 million. I mean, Arkansas's not competing in that same stratosphere. So, but you know what creates all that? Winning. Or the immediate hope of winning, as we've seen in the basketball program at Arkansas. So there's got to be something to, I mean, the money is in Arkansas, in our state. They just haven't been able to tap into it. I know everybody wants to point to the Waltons, but there's other places. So and you're not going to get it from just one. There's been very generous people in recent months with the Tysons and the Stevens and others. But if you want a football program that's thought of in the same light as these others, you've got to get to competing on the same level financially.
It'd be nice, Tommy, if you and I, or you or I, just won the lottery and we just Boone Pickens our way to the Arkansas football program.
They have to win a couple lotteries to Boone Pickens.
Yeah,
everything.
It's a pretty big substantial amount of money when you think about. So Arkansas's not, at least from a outside looking in viewpoint, football's nowhere near what basketball and baseball seem to be, and at least that's my perception. That might not be a reality based on when you actually stack up the numbers. But when things do change, when there's revenue sharing, with how much of an equal playing field will we have? Because I think that, in my opinion, I still think that collectives are going to exist.
Yeah, I mean,
they're just going to.
It just raises the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Revenue sharing is just going to raise the floor for the players. It's not going to levelize the playing field. Until we do away with NIL and just go, and in a perfect world, that's how you do it. All right? NIL money goes away. Courts have already said you can't do that. All right? So until there's an agreement that the NIL part is gone, revenue sharing is here, it's substantially more than the NIL totals in most places, then you have a levelized playing field.
Yeah.
But those that aren't interested in levelizing the playing field. It's the have-nots that are the only ones that champion that conversation.
Yeah, and it seems like based on Greg Sankey's points last week and the conversations that he's had with student athletes, they don't want to become employees, which is kind of that next step in that process you're talking about. I don't know if that's every student athlete, but that's what he said publicly.
Well, I don't know that they have to be employees. They're not going to be employees when they do revenue sharing. So, I mean, there's still got to be some way to, I think, for the courts. I mean, this be a question for, Kevin Hickey or one of our legal minds that, when we get to that point, can you collectively bargain? Yes, there have to be a union, an association there, but there's going to have to be collective bargaining, I think, to have an agreement to do away with the NIL part.
Which has to be
if levelizing the playing field is a priority. I don't believe it is.
Mm-hmm. All right, that is your SEC update this morning, brought to you by our friends at Burn Pools and Spas.
Hey, splash into the rest of summer with great savings right now on above-ground pools from Burton Pools and Spas, with their 3 locations that you can now stop by. They're in Springdale, they're in Fort Smith, they're in Greenland as well with their brand-new showroom. $57 a month. High-quality above-ground pools that you can swim in this summer. $57 a month right now during the summer clearance sale at Burton Pools and Spas. Up to $1,000 off in-stock Doughboy above-ground pools. And if you're thinking about an in-ground pool, stunning fiberglass pool models starting at under $48,000 right now. And don't pass by the discounts on great hot springs or great hot tubs that they have right now at Burton Pools and Spas with savings up to $7,300. Hey, at Burton Pools and Spas, they do more than build swimming pools. They build long-term relationships. Go to burtonpools.com or see them in Fort Smith, Springdale, and now in Greenland.
So, stepping outside of the conference footprint for just a sec, but not too far, with the ACC kickoff yesterday, and Jim Phillips, ACC commissioner, again wants to keep the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference, intact.
This is a really important time for the conference, and either you believe in what's been signed or you don't. And so we are going to do everything we can to protect and to fight the league, because I see a group of student athletes there. We now have 200 student athletes. And this has been a league that started way before me, 71 years ago, and will be a league that'll be around a long time after I depart. This league deserves us to take this really serious issue and to handle it appropriately. What gives me promise and conviction of it? Because I understand, I think these schools, I understand where we're going. We've made some really good adjustments, and this conference is bigger than any one school.
It is a shame that the Pac-12 conference is done. I mean, I don't know there's Oregon State and Washington State, but it's done. And I think it would be an additional pain for college athletics. It just hurt college athletics if the ACC was to dissolve. Now, I think we're heading in that direction. I think that Phillips has a lot of work to do to keep this thing going based on the different reports that we see. Now, according to Pete Thamel, doesn't sound like that Clemson and Florida State are going to leave before August the 15th of this year, make a statement, that declaration that they're going to do that. But I don't see how those two teams stay in the league. I think they're well on their way to the Big 12, but it's just not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
And, the one that controls a lot of this is still ESPN, because who are they all in bed with? To a great degree, ESPN. So they'll have a big say in what happens next. Mm-hmm. But it just seems like we're headed to a Power 2, and maybe ultimately that branches off of the NCAA altogether. How that affects Title IX, how that affects everything moving forward, I don't know. But,
sounds like sports are going to just be canceled on campuses, right, Tommy?
Huh?
Doesn't it sound like sports, if that's the way that we're going to go, that sports are just going to be eliminated on campus?
Because you're saying football's the cash cow, and you remove that, or what? Why would you say that?
Well,
I guess I'm not following.
Based on the different conference commissioners and the other things that you've heard in terms of the conference overall, the money aspect, it seems like that if we head in that direction where there's so much revenue that's getting distributed and quote unquote taking away from the athletics department and going in that direction, that certain sports on campuses are going to be nixed of sorts.
Oh, I thought you meant all sports, Mike.
No.
I'm not following you here. So
they're just going to be. It's based on what I've heard. That's what. Unless they're wrong.
But there's still, if football's making all this gigantic amount of money, there's still going to be money to go around. Now, the question is, how does revenue sharing affect that? Will some schools have to cut sports if the numbers we're hearing, $22 million, how do they pay for that? I don't think you can go raise another $20 million at each school.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you get half and you have to cut half. I don't know. But, those are the hard questions that are coming in the next year or two. It's clearly not here this year. The lawyers, and Greg Sankey spoke of this last week with us on the show, they're working on all these things kind of behind the scenes to figure out how to settle these lawsuits and put them on solid legal footing. And, it's clear. And there was not enough discussion, I thought, last week of revenue sharing, because I don't think there's enough answers at this point, is why there's not enough discussion.
Some of these topics are difficult to touch on because the information, the legal proceedings are not 100% done just yet, or there's still things going on, and so it's hard to.
The lawyers are winning right now because they're racking up a lot of hours trying to figure this out and please a lot of people and please the court's rulings. So something fundamentally, though, has to change. This chaos and this instability and this uncertainty can't carry on. And I still am a believer that, sports is supposed to be about everyone having an equal chance to compete. I think we have had as much as we thought NIL would produce that, and maybe the transfer portal produce maybe a more level playing field, I think it's as uneven as it's maybe ever been right now. There's more have-nots and fewer haves than probably ever right now in the top shelf of college sports.
And we'll see how the college football playoff expansion maybe gives us a better idea of what that is moving forward. I tend to think
that's one thing that counterbalances it back is, Arkansas or schools in that same caliber jump up and you have a 9-3 season, you're going to have a chance to be in that 12-team playoff. And I think that's one reason they'll push for maybe more expansion at some point, because that's somewhat the counterbalance to the inequities right now across the financial landscape.
Great point, because when you look at what other programs are spending assuming to be spent, because all this stuff is hearsay basically. It is a point where, hey, we might not win a national championship, but we could still host a college football playoff quarterfinals, or if they expand it beyond that, which I think a lot of fan bases would love to have a postseason game in whatever stadium they attend each and every Saturday.
They're not going to. We had Rich Clark, the new executive director. Was he a lieutenant general?
Lieutenant general, correct.
Lieutenant general in the Air
Played under
Force.
Coach Hatfield.
And now he is the new executive director, took Bill Hancock's place for the college football playoff committee as their executive director. He was pretty clear. They're not doing away with the bowl system. They are, and that's one thing we'll never uncover, really what's going on there between these bowl committees, the television partners, and these schools. But nobody in charge wants to get rid of bowls. Mm-hmm. And Sam Pittman spoke to it. They want more bowls because when you make a bowl, that kind of gives you somewhat of some job security in a lot of places. So more bowls, more job security for coaches.
Well, it's been a good show here on a Bandwagon Tuesday. Appreciate everyone joining us this morning. We had a chance to catch up with Barrett Salee last week, which you can listen to in the Bud Light Morning Rush podcast. Our conversation with Bruce Sten, biggest takeaway was the frozen chocolate key lime pie from, what was it? What was the restaurant?
I don't remember, but he lost
Kermit's.
Lost me at frozen chocolate key lime pie.
Yeah, which sounds fantastic.
Chocolate dipped key lime pie on a stick.
Yeah, it sounded fantastic. And
I've never been to Key West, but that might be a reason to go.
Direct flight from Dallas based on how he framed it.
Well, there's a direct flight to everywhere from Dallas, Ty.
Well, you were mentioning going to Miami earlier. That's what I'm saying. So it sounds like that you could skip the flight to Miami and just drive directly into Key West if you want to do that. So
you'd miss the beautiful drive. So
yeah, is it long? What did you look it up? How long was it from Key West to Miami earlier?
Oh, I didn't look that up.
Well, that is a possibility. So hopefully he's having a good time down there.
Pensacola to Key West is nearly 13 hours.
Jeez Louise. All right, that's going to do it for us here again on a Bandwagon Tuesday. Appreciate everyone joining us today. If you haven't done so already, download the Hit That Line Now app on iTunes and Google Play. Get your beats ready for tomorrow. We got a What's Your Beef Wednesday coming up at 6 a.m. then.
Pay later with sizzling savings at WT Equipment. No money down, no interest.